Chapter 4840. Chapter 4840 Rumble. Rumble. The mad dragon slanted into the wilderness, roaring, and slammed directly toward the sword of the ancestral ancestors. Roar. The mad dragon squats, but the power of the ancestral ancestors is equally violent. A sword swaying, cutting off the sky, the horrible killings are filled, and the fire of the river is turned into scarlet. A nose. The old ancestors of the Styx screamed. This sword is a sword. A nose sword out, the river snarls like this sword contains endless killings, endless magic thoughts, disturbing the mind, amazing soul. Hey! Jin Guang and Dragon Shadow collided in the void, and the power exploded instantly. The two empty moons fell at this time, and the entire land suddenly became dim. At this time, he looked at Long Fei's shot and looked confused. A few days ago, the winner had stood for me. Today, I am willing to pay him back. You go to deal with them, and the ancestors of the river are handed over to me. Long Fei blinked and looked at him. White is not an opponent of the Styx, even though he is a generation to kill God. But after all, the power is too paranoid to kill one word. And just happened, the practice of the ancestors of the Styx in this area has already reached the point where it is beyond the reach of the gods. Otherwise, it is impossible to create the magic road and set up the Luo family. And the heart of the Shura family is to kill. Therefore, the power of the two men was suppressed by the ancestors of the river. However, apart from the ancestors of the Styx, the entire Shura family, no one can resist the White. White will know what to say, and there will be a gratitude in the eyes. If you don't say anything, killing the sword in your hand will be a shock to the four great devils. Brush it. A sword came out, and the four figures were forced to retreat at the same time. But the White did not mean to stop the pursuit of victory, the backhand sword, and directly to the four magic. Hey! For loud noises appeared out of thin air. These four people, even more undead opponents, even the four great devils are not the enemy of the sword, let alone their four devils' will. Damn! The old ancestors of the Styx are in a hurry, watching the White smashing and ruining the general, pushing their own strong men, the scarlet light in their eyes, the killing infinite spread. Your opponent is me. On the same day when you came out for the local government, you want to put me to death. Today is the time to settle the account. Long Fei said faintly, although Long Fei has not yet broken through. But since the earthquake, his strength in Dantian has once again been condensed, although it has not broken through the five-layer creation, but it is not far behind. And this is also the strength of Long Fei's shot today. I don't know the so-called Deluo and dare to scream in front of this seat. Do you think that you have a little means? Can you really do whatever you want? The old ancestors of the Styx are furious. Now, the entire Shura family in front of him was beaten and defeated and could not be shot. This kind of anger made him almost burst. Oh, if you're really so arrogant, the world would not be 6 saints but 7 saints. Long Fei continued. A ridiculous mockery. This matter, he also tried to win the test. It is precisely because of this that it is said at the moment to take things. Damn, today my ancestors, I will not kill you. How to establish a foothold in the 3 realms in the future. Yuan too. The ancestors of the Styx were hateful, and they were unleashed by Long Fei twice. This is a kind of embarrassment for him. Who is he? The ancestors of the Styx, among the entire 3 realms, the first person under the saint. This title has long been associated with him, and he does not know how many eras. After several days of catastrophe, he was safe and sound, and he was able to explain everything. In the past, no one dared to say. Even if it is a saint, it is never mentioned. But now, in the Long Feiku, it seems to be a commonplace, so that the hatred in his heart is soaring. Is it angry? No use, Kowloon Royal. Long Fei screamed, and the king's blade reappeared. Hey! Kowloon roared and vacated, and the figure of Long Fei was also on the top of the central dragon at this moment. Brush! The knife and the light of the world, the power of the heavens and the earth, the town of all life. If at this moment Long Fei is heaven, it is God, it is supreme. And a sword light of the ancestors of the Styx River also bursts out from the Styx River. Under the burning of the scarlet industry, it is like the blending of blood and fire. Rumble. The sword collided. Knife Meng and Jingguang became the only true meaning of this world at this moment, and all forces have no sense of existence in front of this power. Even White began to stop the attack and looked up to this side. A good tyrant, except for the imperial will of the Majesty, I was the first to perceive this breath from others. I feel very grateful when I feel White. If it is not the emergence of Long Fei, today's battle, they must be wiped out. Therefore, after seeing the battle of Long Feiyu and the end of the battle, and after the defeat, the intention of the heart has once again soared to the extreme. Kill me. The White One made a sound. This voice directly turbulent the will of the entire army. The next moment, 1,000,000 Qin soldiers launched a charge. And White is even more violent. Take the lead with a pair of 80. The high-end combat power of the entire Styx was resisted by him alone. The remaining soldiers of Shura, in front of Qin Bing, are like bubbles, and they are vulnerable. What is even more terrifying is that the soldiers of Shura at this moment are no longer undead. Your so-called immortality is just the use of your strength. Now you're being restrained by me. I am afraid that I will not be distracted. In this case, how can I not die? Long Fei smiled. Hey kid, you are too self-righteous. What can they do if they die? As long as my ancestors are there, the whole Shura community is mine. How many Shura do I have? How many Shura? The ancestors of the Styx said, It is you, your strongest means, these 2 knives, but this seat, but still have not used my fire, Jinlian. You think in front of this innate treasure. How do you resist? The oldest ancestors of the river sneer. The next moment, the fire of the golden lotus at the foot directly rises and falls in its hands. Boundless fire burning, boom. In a flash, the fire of the industry burned, and the endless cremation of the industry turned into a nightmare. In the silence, it appeared outside the body of Long Fei, and the dragon-flying figure was entangled. A dragon flies. Get out of my way. With a sigh of anger, the body of Long Fei's body swelled and wanted to expel this fire. However, at this moment, the change has suddenly occurred, and there is no unfavorable physical force. This moment seems to be ineffective. This boundless fire is like a dog's skin plaster, sticking to the body of Long Fei. All of a sudden, Long Fei's eyes were silent. Ha ha ha. The sin industry is deep. Long Fei is right. The Lord of the Dragon Court, you are coming along this road. Killing is really a lot. So cautious sin industry. Under this industry, you have absolutely no room for survival. The sorrowful sorrow of the sorrowful river is overjoyed and surprises. Chapter 48-41. Chapter 48-41. At this moment, all the battles stopped, including White. The complexion becomes extremely dignified. This seat does not shoot. Do you really think that there is no means? Under the eternal treasure, you are a slag. This seed is going to marry you. It is easy, said the oldest ancestor of the river. Great, my ancestors are invincible. Ha ha ha. This is the first person in the cholera world, shattering the heavens and slaughtering Lingshan. Shit, our ancestors are truly invincible. Look, he is dead. As long as he dies, the ancestors will vacate their hands, and by then, these ghost soldiers will all die. The 4 great devils were excited, and at this moment, they seemed to see hope. Too sad reminder, this battle, they are completely crushed in front of the White, basically no effort to fight back. But now it is different. Long Fei is suppressed by the ancestors of the river, so then it is natural that they do not need to face them. As soon as they leave, the rest of the time will be replaced by their unilateral slaughter. Lord of the Dragon, are you okay? White began to receive the sword, and instantly volleyed came to Long Fei. Don't come over. This industry is not easy. Your sin is not too shallow. Long Fei condensed God and saw that he wanted to be close to himself and reminded him. This industry is extremely difficult. That is, Long Fei, who feels a kind of negative emotion that is difficult to suppress and breeds in the heart. In the mind, there are even more people who have been killed on the road to practice. The of destiny, the mysterious family, the land of chaos, the heavens and the world. The face of one enemy is very incomparable, with the burning of the fire infinitely magnified, as if to fly the dragon to hell. However, Long Fei is now using the power of the soul to suppress it, but it does not help. Mom, is this forcing lousy? Long Fei's heart is ready to use the eternal life. But at this time, Dan Tian suddenly began to riot. Directly put Long Fei's mind into it. I saw that at the moment, in the Dan Tian, a red fire was burning, and the turbidity was cleaned, making Dan Tian more crystal clear, like an embryo that had never been opened up. Hey! But at this time, a crisp pass. There was a crack on the embryo. Then a light burst out of the embryo and disappeared. Long Fei, at this time, is a big shock. This light is not known to others, but Long Fei's heart is clear. The fire of nature? Long Fei was shocked. He was able to determine that the light that was just the light was the fire of nature. In an instant, Long Fei's heart gave birth to a kind of enlightenment. Yes, he can use the fire to burn me. I can use the fire of nature to smelt him. Just see whose fire is even better. Long Fei thought in his heart, and his eyes were restored to Qingming. The next moment, Long Fei's heart moved and began to use power. What shocked Long Fei was that at this time, no matter how he operated, it seemed to be useless, and it was impossible to start super alchemy. Erupt, what happened? Is it that in this world, super alchemy has failed? Long Fei's heart was depressed, but he had just thought of a solution, but he did not expect it to be used. But at this time, in the dragonfly Dantian, there is another fire. With the appearance of this fire, Long Fei suddenly looked up just to see a ray of light coming down from the endless, unknown land. Okay, is this the power of Dantian in traction? In an instant, Long Fei was forced to stay in place. However, what Long Fei did not know was that this fire appeared and directly provoked the shock of the heavenly and the earth saints. 8. In the palace. Sitting on the futon, I am meditating. The next one is Tong Tian and Yuan Shi. After returning from the sky, they gathered together to promote the world. But at this moment, the three opened their eyes at the same time. Innate fire? How is it possible? How is this possible? It's too scary. Daozu once said that before the ancient gods opened the heavens, a kind of flame was born between the heavens and the earth. The name is natural, and the earth can be burned, and the sun and the moon can be refining. But this kind of flame, as early as before the opening of the earth, has disappeared without a trace, breaking into the endless nothingness. How could it reappear here? It's a pity that it's too quick to start, but it's a pity that it's just a moment, and it's a spurt of blood. Brother, can you be sure that it is a congenital fire? Yuan Shi asked. The eyes are also very strong. I can't go wrong. I also feel a touch of heart between the heavens and the earth. Apart from that kind of existence, how can there be a guilty existence? Tong Tian also said. In an instant, the three faces sank. No, this matter must be told to Tao. Otherwise, the world is afraid that it will really go wrong, and the heavens will collapse. Too embarrassed, decisive. Yuan Shi and Tong Tian looked at each other and nodded at the same time. Then, the three people turned into a streamer and disappeared. Similarly, in the imperial palace, the son-in-law is preparing to meet the strong of the Yaozu. It was between the openings and suddenly stopped all the movements. Impossible, impossible. How can this world have this kind of thing? Damn it, Kuang Peng. You will temporarily integrate the Yaozu, and the heavens and the earth will change dramatically. Before the palace has returned, absolutely do not act rashly. Otherwise, my Yaozu will have a catastrophe. The son-in-law said, and then disappeared instantly and went away. At this time, above the western Lingshan, it is also common for them to pick up and prepare for the two. First, they are frightened. Then, after deducing the reversal, they choose to enter the sky and make false accusations. Of course, the emergence of this power, in addition to heaven and earth saints and other, there is no such qualification to see. At this time, in the land of the government, Long Fei hands are surrounded by the shape. and the fire that fell from the sky finally broke the shackles of the land and came to the empty space of the land. Brush. Time and space seem to stop at this moment. With the appearance of this fire, everything is fixed. It is Lone Fei, and I feel that a kind of boundless pressure falls on the whole body. At this moment, in addition to his self-consciousness is clear, he can't move. As for the sticks and others, the same is true at this moment, as if it is sluggish and the wood is on the ground. Boom! When it's too late, it's fast, and a fire directly falls in front of Lone Fei, without any embarrassment, directly into the dragon field of Lone Fei. Lone Fei consciousness also sinks into Dantian in an instant. This fire is too horrible. Inexplicably, he enters his own Dantian. How can Lone Fei not worry? The next moment, Lone Fei saw this fire, directly in the Dantian embryo, the radiant glow of each other blended with each other. Hey, the incomparable embryos have cracked again, but there is still no tendency to break. Lone Fei's heart sinks, and he simply doesn't understand why he's been burned by the fire, which will cause this kind of change. But at this time, an inexplicable perception appeared in the mind of Lone Fei. That is, now, you can already use super alchemy. Chapter 4842. Chapter 4842. This perception is extremely clear. As if this fire rushed into Dantian, there was more power in Dantian, and that was the fire of nature. This change is that Lone Fei feels extremely aggressive. In the past, super alchemy was directly linked to the heavens and the earth, and the world became a fire. But now, this innate fire directly becomes the power within Dantian, and there is some mistake between Lone Fei and the moment. As for whether it is good or bad, Lone Fei himself can't say it. However, for the moment, it is enough. At this moment, although the fire of the Red Lotus is still wrapped around the dragon, but with this fire pouring into itself, Lone Fei can clearly feel that the fire of the Red Lotus has no influence on itself. All the illusions disappeared at the moment. At the moment, the outside world has returned to normal. The old ancestors of the sticks are as usual, still as before, full of self-confidence, as if waiting for Lone Fei to be burned by the industry, and finally died on the spot. Haha, look, this kid is stupid. I am waiting for death. I don't know the so-called a human power and dare to arrogant in front of my Shura family. This is innate treasure, a human kid, and will die. The Shura family is extremely arrogant. These words at the moment heard in Lone Fei, only ridiculous. Waiting to die? How is this possible? Now even the Red Lotus industry fire in front of him is just a joke. Even his physical defense cannot wear through, expecting the Red Lotus industry to destroy him? Not possible. Plus, however, this also made Lone Fei more certain of one thing. That is, what happened to him just now, and others did not know. Even the ancestors of the sticks did not realize that the power entered their bodies. In other words, it is the same force that directly impeded the time and space of the heavens and the earth, impeded the rotation of time, and fixed everything in the heavens and the earth. Even the existence of the ancestors of the Ningyi River was not spared, and there was a memory gap. Otherwise, at this moment, they will definitely not have any words about that power. The bulls, even the ancestors of the river, can be imprisoned in front of this power. It seems that this power is the real counter-invasion. Hey, don't know how to use this power to perform super alchemy. Will it improve? Refining the sun and the moon, refining the heavens and the earth, refining the Chinquin, it should not be too far. Lone Fei thought of it. After getting super alchemy, he used very few times, except for the fact that he had never used it in the world. But now, the change in Dantian. Let Lone Fei pay attention to the super alchemy. At this time, the ancestors of the sticks seem to have exhausted their patience and are unwilling to wait, saying, "Why must you struggle? Only an industry burns. Even if you have the power of quasi-holy, is sure to die. To blame you for too much karma." The sorrowful sorrow of the sorrowful sorrow, as if trying to defeat Lone Fei's psychological defense. But in the next moment, the ancestors of the sticks were directly stuck in the same place. Struggling? Open your dog's eyes and see. This red lotus industry fire, useful to lousy? Long Fei disdain. Ever since, that fire has flooded into Dantian. The influence of Hongli and Yuo on him has been useless. Before that, Long Fei did not move, but was immersed in the mind of Dantian's power. Now, wake up by the ancestors of the sticks, naturally straightforward. Playing pigs and eating tigers is not necessary at all, because now he is a tiger. Well, a glimpse of the ancestors of the sticks, the eyes directly through the red lotus, fixed on the body of Long Fei. This time, I finally realized that in the body of Long Fei, there's been no trace of the burning of the red lotus industry. Therefore, the red lotus entanglement is nothing but a watch, and there is no harm at all. Impossible. You are very serious. Under the burning of this red lotus fire, you will either become a demon or die. How can you have nothing at all? I don't believe it. The ancestors of the river were panicked. This is the red lotus industry fire, is the power of the innate treasure to the 12 products industry red lotus. This power, let alone the big Luo, even if it is a quasi-holy, even if it is a saint, do not dare to parry. At the moment, Long Fei is safe and sound. Not only that, but even under the power of the red lotus industry, it is easy to open and satirical. This scene has never happened since ancient times. Nothing is impossible, my way. Why do others have to judge whether it is a crime? What can the red lotus industry fire be? Even if it is a punishment for me, I will collapse and establish my own way. It's too much to say, it's cool to burn Lao Tzu. Now you have tasted it. What is the taste of being burned by flames? Long Fei said faintly. The power of creation was shocked, and the power of the fire red lotus disappeared instantly. No trace. In the next moment, Long Fei's hand was in flames and appeared silently. Burn me? Are you joking? The ancestors are in the middle of the river, the water of the river, the magic of the magic. You can burn the river? The ancestors of the river are disdainful. For the words of Long Fei, do not believe. Yes? Don't be so confident. The era can be changed. The world has a big robbery. The water of a river can still be ancient? Long Fei, eyes cold, said. The existence of the sticks is indeed very special. But this does not mean that there is really no way to crack. If you put it before, Long Fei may not be so sure. But now, in Dantian, the fusion of the fire makes Long Fei confident. Hey, you are too arrogant. Even if the saints face the ancestors, I dare not say such a big word. Even if it is the sage of the saints, the gossip fire does not dare to say that I am burning the water of the river. My ancestors, I have to look at it. What do you do, dare to say that I am burning the river? The ancestors of the river faintly opened their mouths and looked disdainful. The voice just fell, and a sense of guilt, but it came to his mind. I saw that at this moment, Long Fei, with both hands, the flames were born out of nothing, and they were directly condensed. And between the heavens and the earth, at this moment, it has become extremely hot, as if the whole world has turned into a huge melting pot. The heavens and the earth are furnaces. Long Fei sighed. Rumble, rumble. In an instant, the heavens and the earth roared, and an invisible force directly wrapped the whole world. What? The old ancestors of the sticks could not remain calm, and all the proud colors disappeared at this moment. The heavens and the earth are furnaces? Impossible. What kind of magic is this? How is it possible? The ancestors of the Styx River were horrified, and the body had unconsciously exploded. Unfortunately, I still want to retire now. It is already late. The whole world has become a melting pot, and where can I run? At this time, the action of Long Fei continues. Nature is a fire. Another sound, the flame in the dragonfly Dantian, has been following the hands of Long Fei, began to flow out, directly igniting the heavens and the earth. Sty River, give me a refining. Long Fei suddenly opened, stepped out, and directly rushed into the endless river. Chapter 48-43. Chapter 48-43 Rumble. Rumble. The raging flames began to burn in an instant, and the entire Styx began to evaporate. Numerous Shuriites, under this horrible flame, were directly burned into ashes and began to suffer from infinite pain. But it is only an instant. It is no life submerged in the flame, turned into powder. Not only them, even the 72 Princess Shura, under this power, is also constantly dodging, followed by a scream. Even the 4 great devils and the 4 great devils were not spared at this time. Under the influence of this flame, they were directly involved in the Styx and suffered. The entire Styx is shrinking at a speed visible to the naked eye. No, impossible, my ancestors saved me. Heaven, what power is this? Why can it even burn in the Styx? How is this possible? Old ancestor, help, I don't want to die. As time went by, the 4 great devils, the screams of the 4 great devils broke out, and the pain was endless. But they never found out that the ancestors of the Styx were extremely embarrassed at this time. Although not as unbearable as they are still extremely angry. The Styx is his root. Therefore, the Styx does not die, the ancestors do not die, nor is it an empty talk. But the roots of all this are on the river. Nowadays, the water of the Styx has begun to evaporate under the flame of Longfei. This phenomenon has given the first ancestor of the Styx to the fear. Even in the face of the fear that the saints do not have, it is now born in the heart. Impossible, impossible, what is this flame? How could it burn my river? The ancestors of the river madly shook their heads. Unbelievable. In his cognition, this kind of thing should never appear. Can be biased. Everything is in front of you. Even if he doesn't want to admit it anymore, it doesn't work. How can you be in the river? All the rules are used to break. The saints are not benevolent. The rules of heaven and earth can be broken, let alone a river of the meditation. Refining. The dragon screamed, and the natural fire was more turbulent. At this time, the melting pot of heaven and earth is also under the power of natural fire, showing the power of God. The entire land, all the power, are integrated into it. Even at this time, the wind outside the 18th floor of hell feels unusual. The furnace of good horror, if it is not that he is not broken through now, afraid that it is the entire land, it must be refining in an instant. When a sigh, he already knows that this power is radiated from Longfei. It is even said that from the appearance of Longfei on the land, he has already felt it in his heart. After all, Longfei has merged with his emperor's will, so he knows best. Great Emperor, this hell, there is no trace of the monk. It will not be true that he jumped into alone, and the endless evil spirits, said Shin Yu. Both of them are very surprised. You must know that the evil spirits are truly inexhaustible, counting on the strength of one person. Even if the Dharma is deep, it cannot be easily tempered. After all, degree is different from killing. If you want to kill, you can do it with the power of the earth, but you can't stop you. It should be. It seems that the Tibetans have long had their own minds. He wants to be a Buddha, to be an alternative Buddha, or to be a real Buddha. When said faintly, there was a softness in his eyes. The gods were so sullen, as if they didn't understand what they meant. Let's go. This is also a fellow man. We are now going to the 10 halls. No matter what else, the land government must be unified today. Wind said, the figure disappeared and disappeared. The gods were not hesitant, and they chased the past. The picture turns again above the river. At this time, the flying earth furnace of Longfei has been completely bursting out. The horrible natural fire has directly become a weapon to kill Shura. When the fire flashes, it is tens of thousands of Shura, which is directly burned into ash. The water of the Styx is also shrinking sharply at this time, which is about 20% smaller than the original. As the water of the Styx dissipated, the atmosphere of the ancestors of the Styx also weakened. Damn, what the flame is Red Lotus Industry fire. Give me a break. The old ancestors of the river screamed, urging the 12-product fire Red Lotus, wanting to break through the world's furnace through the power of the fire, the power of. But unfortunately, the Red Lotus Industry fire, in the face of Longfei's natural fire, is completely a child's house. Just appeared, it instantly annihilated. Useless. Longfei sighed. The power of the industrial fire is powerful, but the fire that he has integrated can be isolated even from the old deities of the river, and even the time and space of the heavens and the earth are fixed. It can be seen that it is not comparable to the fire. It is like being a high in the king of God. Generally speaking, it is not at the same level. Time is delayed, and in a blink of an eye, a quarter of an hour passes. Lone Fei has already extrapolated the fire of nature and deepened the melting pot of the heavens and the earth. The water of the Styx has also been reduced by 20%, only half the size of the previous one. Under this power, the tens of thousands of Shura have been killed, and the 72 Princess Shura has died tragically, and Umno is also unable to escape bad luck. Even the 4 great devils will be turned into fly ash. Only the Styx and the 4 devils are still in peace. However, in Long Fei's view, destroying them is only a matter of time. At this time, Qin being led by Bai Qi also stopped. This war has not required them to do so. Long Fei is too violent, and the power of one person swept across the river and blocked 1,000,000 divisions. It is white, and at the moment, there is also an admiration for Long Fei. This kind of gaze, he only voted for the win before, but now, Long Fei has won his respect by virtue of his own strength. Damn, Long Fei, you wait, my ancestors, if I am out of trouble today, I will destroy you in the morning. I want you to die in the Dragon Court. The old ancestors of the river are roaring, almost angry. Escape? Today I'm going to refine your river. The river is dry. See how you die. Long Fei did not retreat, said coldly. But at this time, above the land of the government, suddenly a horrible pressure came. When Long Fei's eyes turned, he saw a magnificent mountain condensed on the void and smashed against the melting pot of heaven and earth. Rumble. The horrible mountain is crushed down. Long Fei's eyes were condensed, and he had no choice but to rub his hands and give up the melting pot of the heavens and earth. But it was such a loose. The power of the melting pot of the heavens and the earth was gone, and the horrible powers that had been condensed before were disappeared without a trace. 2. Long Fei said, his mouth is full of killing. Originally, he was about to refine the water of the Styx. As long as the Styx was dry, it was impossible to kill the Styx. Unexpectedly, at this time, Danyue was too embarrassed to spoil the situation, and with the power of Danyue Taishan, it collapsed its own strength. Hey, the mountain does not turn to the water. On the same day, you jointly win and humiliate the emperor. Today is just the beginning. You are waiting for the anger of the 2 great holy sacred. Got the river go. Danyue is too embarrassed. The sound is also cold and cold. The ancestors of the Styx also took advantage of this opportunity to control the water of the Styx and disappear instantly. Chapter 48-44. Chapter 48-44. In the blink of an eye, above the land, everything disappeared without a trace. The traces of the Styx are gone, and the endless Shura has no shadow. Damn, Long Fei hated it in his heart. Originally, under this power, the Styx would be dry. Even if it could not kill the Styx, it would greatly defeat the power of the ancestors of the Styx. However, I did not expect that at the crucial moment, Danyue Taihao actually came out to spoil the bureau and directly rescue the ancestral ancestors. Your mightiness. At this time, I took a step forward. Today it is enough. Your means can be defeated once. In the future, the ancestors of the river will never have room for arrogance. Said from the white. Long Fei nodded silently. Bai Qi said that it is not bad. Now that power has been integrated into Dantian, the power of the heaven and earth furnace can be mobilized. It can be said that in the future, even if it is facing the ancestors of the Styx, there is no need to fear. As soon as I read this, Long Fei's heart was also released. Most importantly, this battle has already confirmed its own combat power. Now, it can be said that his combat power is the supreme sequence of truly entering this mythical world. Under the Saint, there is no scruples. Once upon a time, Long Fei felt that the power of winning the hook was terrible. But now, he is also reaching this level. although it is said that it is largely related to the sudden integration of Dantian's fire today. Since it is into its own Dantian, it is its own strength. This is enough. Tell Win, the day is the platform for me. I have already returned. Now that the ancestors of the sticks have retired, the rest of the things, he should be able to get it himself. Longfei said, he came here today, originally intended to help the boxing. I just didn't expect to win so much. I actually started the attack. It could be expected that after the whole day, the entire government will change hands, completely under the control of winning. As for the Taiji and the sticks, one who was defeated and abused could not lift his head, and one was killed by Longfei. Even if he was still alive, he could only hide in the corner. You can rest assured that if you do not take it today, my million Qin soldiers will not be spared. Even if it is a certain one, it is impossible to escape. This is kindness. If Longting is in need in the future, as long as it will only be heard, Bai Qi will carry millions of Qin soldiers, and the world will be open for you. Bai said, a serious face. Longfei's heart was shocked. It's not a big deal. Well, there's a killing of God, and Longfei is worth it today. Longfei said a moment, and then looked at the 10th hall. Suddenly, Longfei's heart moved, and the power of a touch of infiltration permeated. The first emperor should have already harvested the 10 halls now, and you will go to help out. I will return to the world first. Longfei said, no hesitation. With the skill of winning, it is easy to harvest the 10 kings, and the things here continue to stay, and there is no more meaning. More importantly, in this moment, Longfei's heart is connected with the stone of Xianmen, and he has realized an inexplicable inspiration. Needless to say, there is a guest on the top of the dragon court. However, it is still unknown whether the customer is still an enemy. Fortunately, however, they are not working now, and they can give Dragon a little time. As soon as I read this, Longfei's figure turned, tearing the sky and returning to Longting. At this time, on the Longting, a group of figures have come. Is this the dragon court? Sure enough, but the heavens and the earth dare to call the court. It is too overbearing. A figure said, his eyes were cold and airy. Who said no? Oh, and those demon people, it's simply sad. Even a little demon, there's no slave. There's also a faint sigh behind him, cold and ruthless. But no matter what, since we are here today, it is absolutely impossible to condone Longting to continue to do nothing today if he is surrendered. If you're not satisfied, call me directly to the enchantress. Come here, directly destroy his dragon court, set up my demon court. Another person speaks, and the tone is even more powerful. As said, the 3 figures fell quickly and fell towards the dragon court. Longting Zhong, Yin Guanghe, and Tushan Xiaoya and Tushan Xiaorong. Watching the 3 people coming down, their eyes are shrinking. It is a demon. This is the demon of the demon. How can they come to our dragon court? In the end, Yin Guang was the dragon king of the East China Sea, and the dragons passed down for a long time, so he knew a lot of things, and at a glance he recognized several people in front of him. Tushan Xiaoya and Tushan Xiaorong. His face is also very embarrassing at this time. That is a suppression. Tushan Xiaoya is better, repaired as a tyrannical, plus the essence of refining and chemical dragon flying, at this time for this breath suppression, can completely ignore. But Tushan Xiaorong, but showed a very painful expression. 2 dragons? I don't think the dragons are going to be the running dogs of the heavens, but also to be the running dogs of the world. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to think about how arrogant the dragons are, and now they are so slaves. On the void, the figures of the 3 people descended, and they couldn't help but speak. Presumptuous. Yin Guang's face was instantly embarrassed. Every word of them is like a scimitar directly into their hearts. How do I have a dragon? But it is not up to you to evaluate. Why? You are coming to my long court now. Are you afraid of coming back? Yin Guang said that he is domineering. At any moment, he is always demon, but at the moment, what he represents is Longting, and he must not be jealous. Is there any return? Are you too confident? Is it because of the boy who turned over the heavens? As far as the level of heaven is, I can do it by just one person. Some ignorant people between heaven and earth say that he is the first person under the saint. Are you really invincible under the saint? It's a joke. Among the three, the one-headed said, a look of disdain and disdain. For you, Guang, I completely ignore it. So, are you three today? Are you provoking? The cockroach sighed, and the body began to condense. Boom! But at this time, one person on the void slammed one hand. Brush. Endless demon is coming, and the momentum of Zhai Guang is directly suppressed. District Luo, don't waste your time. I have been waiting for a few thousand years. Do you think that you are born now? Are I still level before the ancient times? The person who is the leader said that he is overbearing and directly suppresses it. Whizzing. At this time, among the dragon courts, Xin Yu and Xiao Yuer also appeared one after another. Such a horrible demon, they can naturally perceive, so that they can't wait to come here. Master, Yin Guanghe and the two said. Xin Yu and Xiao Yuer nodded, and then looked at the void. The demon. Two people are condensed in the eyes. The atmosphere of these three people is extremely tyrannical, and they are not good-willed. Otherwise, they will not come up and take action against Yin Guang. So, just a glance, they already understand. These three demon people are not good, and good people do not come. Chapter 48-45. Chapter 48-45. The three great demon gods are incomparably mad, and they are condescending on the void. And the people of the Dragon Hill are now silent. Too strong, just breath, they have already caused a huge pressure on them. How is this possible? They are even stronger than the original Yanglan. Xianyu is helpless. Although she has long known that the way Longfei wants to go is definitely a road that others have never touched, and the crisis is heavy. I did not expect that it would be so black, and it would be that the supreme power would come to the door. The stronger the person coming, the more it is explained that the strength of Longfei's brother is stronger. The more it shows the way Longfei's brother has to go has already affected them. Xiao Yuer's voice is firm. The people are too strong. They can't stand it. But compared to the crisis, Longfei is getting closer and closer to its own goals, and they are happy to enjoy it. Master, the hostess of Longting? So weak. It seems that the Lord of the Dragon Chamber is not necessarily strong enough to take it. In the void, a demon said. The eyes are full of contempt. Let's go. If my Lord of the Dragon Court is here, you are afraid that there is no courage to open your mouth. Hey, angered and screamed. You let go. But at this moment, the demon suddenly shot. A demon force swept through the moment and descended on the Dragon Court. Hey! After Guanggan had not had time to react, he was swept by this force. The whole person was directly repelled, and his mouth was vomiting blood. Who gives you the courage to talk to this seat? When the seat is in ancient times, your dragons can't even put a fart. Now, the wheel gets you a dragon in front of the seat? The head of the demon body spoke, and his face was cold. Hey, the demon, when my dragons were in the sky, when the palms were in control, your Yaozu was not born yet. Yin Guang retorted a sentence and endured severe pain. However, the nature of the dragon has been motivated by him for a period of time, and he will never compromise. He surrendered to Long Ting, but also because of Long Fei's own, there is the atmosphere of the dragon ancestors. If not, how can he endure the dragons to follow him as the slaves of the two surnames? In the void, the demon stunned, and the anger was even worse. Nothing else, just because of the sentence that Zhai Guang said now. This is the truth. When the dragons were in the sky, they had just opened their hearts. The demon sages and sons had not yet been obtained. The demon people were only a group of uninspired beasts. They did not say practice, and even survival was instinct, and it was impossible to become a group. The dragons are different. The dragons can say that they are a period with the ancestors of the Yaozu. Looking for death. Originally, this seat is coming today. I want to give you a chance to admire the demon. I did not expect that you were so proud. If this is the case, then destroy your prestige and let you know that when my demon is born, the heavens are invincible. On the void, the demon said. The next moment, this person directly became the body. It is a half-human and half-devil, tiger-like and bird-winged, but it is born with a human hand, holding a spear and prestige. British recruit. The demon god's recruit. Yin Guangha opened his mouth, and his face was shocked. Before, although I have already guessed that 3 people are the power of the Yaozu. But now that the body is exposed, letting know the origins is so big. If you have some insights, you will know the existence of this seat, but it is too late. Annoyed the seat, and you will use your life to pay back. Ying Zhao screamed, and the spear in his hand flashed cold, directly piercing the void and heading straight toward the vast. Brush. At this moment, the entire dragon court is full of horrible pressure. The pressure was crushed down, and the whole dragon court was trembled madly, and between the roaring, the Buddha was asked to cut a piece. However, this crushing is only a moment to end. The foundation of Long Ting is the cornerstone of Xianmen. The stone of Xianmen is a system product. If it is produced by the system, if it is such a dish, it will not be enough for Long Fei to grow from Tianwu to the present. It can be said that just as the power of the spear is about to land on the dragon court, the stone of Xianmen directly emits a horrible light, and the golden dragon instantly whispers from it, and the power of this attack is swallowed directly. Then returned to silence. Hey! The body of Ying Zhao's body exploded hundreds of feet in this moment, and the whole person's breath was shocked and his face was red. Longting air transport. In a short time, how could it be so tyrannical? Ying Zhao's face changed dramatically. The tyrannical power of Longting's air transport completely exceeded his expectations. Even his attack could not stop the power of a gas transport. In the final analysis, this is also because of the integration before Long Fei. Today's Longting air transport is the most fundamental and purest force of the Dragon Court. This is not better. The more sturdy the Xianting air transport is, the more it will serve the demon family in the end and become the air transport of my demon court. At this time, another demon turned out the original shape. It's a sly, very incomparable. The hair of the whole body is like a barb, sharp and sharp, plus the double eyes on the top of the head. It is full of violent breath. Yes, Long Ting is stronger. In front of my Yaozu, it is useless. After all, it is just a wedding dress for us. The last monster has also changed its original shape. It is a big demon with a human face, and several tiger tails are like Optimus Prime. It is shocking. The 3 demon gods are full of embarrassment on this face. In addition to the British tricks, the remaining 2 are the fierce atmosphere of the whole body condensed in the body, watching Long Ting, full of greed. The next moment, the 3 figures came forward, and the demon of the body broke out at the same time. Seems to want to shoot. But at this time, above the void, a crack broke out. Then, the figure of Long Fei stepped out from one step. When they saw the 3 demon gods above the dragon court, Long Fei was cold and cold. The demon, Long Fei did not think of it. The person who committed the dragon court turned out to be the Yaozu. The witches have come, but they have not moved. Come on, the system has to wake up when Laozi has broken through. Even if the Yaozu is behind the saint, it is useless. It's just that now the Yaozu is coming to the door, just in time. Let's break the world war. Long Fei's heart sank, his eyes moved, his body sank instantly, and he came directly to Long Ting and faced 3 people. And hey, Ying Zhao and Lu Wu at this moment also found Long Fei, the eyes instantly condensed. Lord of the Dragon? The faces of the 3 men were all changed because they did not find out when dragon flying appeared. I left for only half a day, and you even went directly to Long Ting. I want to know who I am and give you this courage. Long Fei said quietly. Invisible directly hit the words of the previous British move. The moment before, Ying Zhao also said that Yin Guang was not qualified to make irresponsible remarks in front of him. In a blink of an eye, it is the direct surrender of Long Fei, such as the return of the number. Chapter 48-46. Chapter 48-46 Domineering Side Leakage. I am invincible. Yes, at this moment, Long Fei has such an enthusiasm. In particular, Dan Tian control the nameless fire. Under the wrath, even the sticks can refine, still care about a few demon gods? Non-existent. Hey, Ying Zhao and Lu Wu's faces are all gloomy. His repair is just a big Luophone peak, but why give me a feeling extremely dangerous? Yes, there's a fierce light on his body, as if he had just rallied after defeating the strong. What did he do? It seems that we have looked down on Long Ting and acted carefully. The three men spoke to each other and looked at Long Fei's eyes, which was also full of caution. This change is naturally beyond the perception of Long Fei. Even the people above the Dragon Court can see it. For a time, Xin Yu and others all showed a surprise. They are really afraid that Long Fei will not be able to come back. So today, Long Ting is in danger of dying. Fortunately, now that Long Fei returns, all crises can be lifted. At this time, Lu Wu three people stepped forward, wrapped in the demon of the sky, facing the dragonfly. Lord of the Dragon Court, now, give you a choice and surrender to my demon. In the future, my demon will regain the heavenly court and give you the glory. You will be the Lord of the earth. Take the witch and replace it, and set up the Terran. On the top, it is not a fairy, how? Lu Wu said, a face of madness. Long Fei glimpsed, looked at the three demon gods in front of him, killing the plane. I can't lift the knife. Or, is your Yaozu too floating? The Wu people are coming, and they dare not say such words. Still, I really want to know who is giving you such courage. Said, at this time, the three people in front of me are speechless. The Yaozu was brutal and rampant, but he did not expect that he would be arrogant to this extent. As Long Fei said, even if it is a witch, it only sends a descendant who has had an intersection with him to be a lobbyist. Could be a good demon. Three demon gods come to the door, directly to the dragonfly down, is simply a joke. The three saw the dragon flying silent, thinking that Long Fei was shocked by the conditions he said, and there was a satisfactory light in his eyes. Very good. The person who knows the time is Junjie. Lord of the Dragon Court, you feel honored for your choice today, because you never think of it, how deep the foundation of my Yaozu is. The three men screamed again. What surprised them was that their voices just fell. Long Fei directly took a knife and smashed it out. Boom! Crazy Dragon Town. The tens of thousands of mad dragons swept away and directly attacked the three men. Booming. Although this is a knife, for Long Fei, Wei Wei can't be underestimated. After all, Long Fei's current cultivation has reached an extreme, and once it breaks through, it will be another realm. Therefore, even if it is a knife now, the power can kill the General Luo. In an instant, Lu Wu and the three responded and quickly shot. For a moment, three demon powers came out of nowhere. Booming. The knives dissipated and the mad dragon disappeared, but the three men stepped back 3 steps at the same time. Don't look at just 3 steps, but it has already shocked the hearts of the three. Do you dare to shoot? Damn, Lord of the Dragon, you still have to be shameless? Actually shot. Yes, you are still a generation of strong. How can you not pay attention to it? The three suddenly panicked. Long Fei's knife is not caught by them. If it's not 3 people practicing, they're afraid of being a simple person. They will be seriously injured by this unexpected knife. Sneak attack. Long Fei sinks. It's a joke. Now that you have all hit the Long Ting, can I still have a ritual and a feast? It is inevitable that you are too serious about yourself. Long Fei said coldly. 3 people speak. Looking at the expression on Long Fei's face, they already understand. From the beginning to the end, Long Fei did not think about surrendering. However, they're preconceived, still thinking that with the power of the Yaozu, can make the heavens bow down. In a blink of an eye, the 3-person expression is a change. Become extremely dignified. Lord of the Dragon, what are you doing? Lu Wu opened his mouth and looked alert. But Long Fei laughed at this time. What do you say? Long Fei asked. The next moment, the blade of the King directly stood in front of him, and a horrible momentum also condensed. Brush! Suddenly, the demon power of Lu Wu was ignited, and the horrible monster swept the entire sky. At this moment, even the heavens and the earth were shivering. Under this horrible atmosphere, they began to hide in Tibet. Lord of the Dragon, you have to think clearly. What are you doing? You are provoking a supreme existence that can cover the heavens and the earth. Covering the world? Do you think that the current demon is still the demon in the ancient times? Long Fei asked. No fear. The Yaozu is not weak. But if it can really be strong enough to cover the world, now is not heaven, but the demon. Moreover, in the heart of Long Fei, who had just started a battle in the local government, he had a new understanding of his own combat power. Just taking advantage of these 3 demon gods, and then the name of the Dragon Court. Hey, you are too arrogant. What about my demon? And I will not be able to despise you as a humanist. And now we have 3 people. You only have 1. Dare to be so arrogant? Do not talk nonsense. Destroy him. Long Ting is still my demon. The 3 men opened their mouths one after another. At this moment, the attitude of Long Fei was also provoked by the real fire. In a flash, they started to shoot. Hey! The figure of the 3 people flew in the void and wrapped the figure of Long Fei in the center. The mouth of the mouth, swallow. Directly shot, incarnate the body of the body, open the mouth of the blood, devour the world. Cracking the heavens. Lu Wu also shot, above the tiger's claws, sharp and sharp, tearing a world between a moment, grabbed against Long Fei. Breaking the fairy. Ying Zhao spears a spear, Wei power is unparalleled. Booming. The 3 forces erupted directly from different 3 directions. Long Fei's eyes are unchanged, and the king's blade in his hand shines at this moment. Crazy Dragon Town. With a knife to push, Long Fei condenses the power of the flesh and uses the power of the upper body to destroy the absurd power and display this knife. Roar. In the twinkling of an eye, Kowloon roared out, and it was not a star or a half stronger than when it shattered the temple of heaven. At that time, the dragon of the royal sky, whether it was form or violent or even breath, could not be compared with this moment. 9 dragons soar. Each one has the power of the mad dragon. Especially the most middle one, carrying the body of Long Fei, is even more terrifying. On almost every scale, there is a power that can suppress the Luo. Rumble, rumble. A knife fell, and the power of the 3 demon gods instantly collided. Immediately afterwards, I directly thought of a land of taboos. The creatures are not close, and everything does not exist. It was Long Fei, and he did not expect that his own physical strength would be able to bring such a large increase to the blade of the king. Chapter 48-47. Chapter 48-47. At this moment, the power of several people is intertwined, the emptiness of the void is constant, and the power is horrified. It is no exaggeration. At this time, even those who have the Luo Xiao are mistaken into the center of several people's battles. The ending is also a word, Dai. Impossible. How can it be so powerful? You are just a human being. How could there be such a terrible power? Lu Wu screamed and did not believe in his eyes. There are demon gods, even in ancient times. Even if they are quasi-holy, they can't be better in front of them. But now, the 3 of them, under the dragon's sword, are hard to support. Nothing is impossible. What can the Terran do? It is enough to be able to marry you. Long Fei spoke quietly, and then he sank in his hand. Boom! When the power broke out, the 3 could not resist it. In a moment, they gave up the resistance, and the figure flew directly. Puff puff. The 3 men squirted of blood directly, and looked at the volley, and stood up, and his face was bleak. Take a pair of 3, 1 knife, to defeat the demon. If this record is passed, no one will believe it. How is this possible? The same as Luo. Why your power is so terrible? Ying Zhao's face is already full of panic, becoming more arrogant than before. And this moment is completely different. Below, on the top of the dragon, everyone's face has already appeared to smile. Especially they can clearly understand that Long Fei has a knife and a sword, and that kind of pride and strength dominates the world. The adults are strong again. Now the adults really have the capital that is proud of the world. We are right. The two were very surprised. When they chose to surrender, their hearts were convinced by the power of Long Fei. But more, they also wanted to gamble, and gambling dragons could lead them to reproduce the dragon's past glory. Now, the combat power shown by Long Fei really makes the move. Make their expectations look like they are. As long as they follow Long Fei, everything can be achieved. The big bad guy is so strong. However, his body has never lacked a miracle. He is synonymous with miracles. Even this mythological world is the same. Xuanzang smiled as if he was a dragon, and her heart was equally satisfied. Xiao Yuerer seems to have become accustomed to the general, revealing a smile that will make a heart, quietly watching the dragon flying above the void, almost obsessed. Of course, Long Fei didn't know that he had a battle with the three demon gods, and he even thought that Long Tingzhong thought so much. Now, I will give you a chance. My Long Ting is still lacking the protector of the mountain. If you choose to surrender and become the protector of my dragon, I will avoid you from dying. Long Fei said. The face is very proud, just as Lu Wu and others had to open the room before the dragon to surrender. Brush it. In an instant, the three faces were very stinging. The words of Long Fei, like sharp knives, are unrelenting, and they are left to the ground. Lord of the Dragon, you are too much. We are so demon. You dare to humiliate us so much. Are you not afraid of my demon family to destroy your dragon court? Yes, even if you are strong and can be, you only have one, and my demon sorcerer can hold you down. At that time, my family's endless demon king will make you a dragon and instantly become a ruin. That's it. Confess, confess. Maybe I can forgive your disrespect. The three were pretending to be calm and said that they wanted to move out of the Yaozu to threaten Long Fei. But unfortunately, if Long Fei is afraid of threats, it will never go to today. Threaten me? The dragon's mouth is cold and faint. Perhaps this mythological world can threaten my existence, but I am sorry, not your Yaozu. Long Fei said coldly. His eyes moved. Dan Tion's power was mobilized, and a touch of fire directly appeared in his hands. Refining. With a light drink, Long Fei was wearing a dry land and pulling onions, flying directly above the total void and falling against Lu Wu. In this palm of the hand, the heaven and earth furnace is instantly formed, directly covering Lu Wu's figure. Oh, what is this? Go away. In an instant, Lu Wu's screams came one after another, and his body began to show a glimmer of fire. Lu Wu is constantly struggling, exerting his whole body and trying to break the power of this flame. But unfortunately, this power can refine the river of the ancestors of the river, and a demon cannot afford the wind and waves. In the other two directions, Ying Zhao and Yin are also a slap in the face. Looking at Lu Wu, who is bound in the invisible, the color of fear emerges in the pupil. Lu Wu, damn! The two exclaimed, looking at the painful Lu Wu, who wanted to shoot, but Long Fei was in front and did not dare. Lord of the Dragon Court, I advise you not to mess with me. Behind my demon is a saint. If you dare to move my demon, the whole Dragon Court will be difficult in the future. Yes, everything is good to discuss, but you have to continue to shoot. There is no possibility of reconciliation between the Yaozu and your Longting. The two rushed to say that they were afraid of the dragon flying down the killer. This is a demon god, the peak force among the Yaozu. Moreover, they feel that Long Fei is a peerless monk who does not press the cards at all, killing and decisive. Reconciliation? When will I have a reconciliation with your Yaozu? Long Fei snorted. I've already hit the door, but also want to reconcile? Does not exist at all. Let me go if you dare to move me. The niece will return. I will personally suppress you. Lu Wu is still screaming, especially after hearing the words of Long Fei. The heart is even more urgent, for fear Long Fei will kill himself under this fire. It is a pity that even if you move out of the son-in-law, Long Fei will not change. How can you move? How can you move your Yaozu? I am a dragon. I have not gone to the demon, but you have already come to the door. When you appear on the dragon court, you should have thought of this result. When I picked up a dragonfly on the same day, I already said that if I move my dragon court, I will destroy him. Since your Yaozu dare to make this limelight, today I am as you wish. Long Fei's eyes are deep. The killing of a road began to surge. And with the change of the body of Long Fei, the power of the furnace of this world is completely violent. This makes Lu Wu, in an instant, directly wrapped in flames, and even the demon gas of the body is refining. Oh no, don't kill me. I have not died after the Lich War. How could I die here? Don't kill me. I am willing to be the guardian beast of Long Ting. As long as I can keep my life, I am willing to be a slave for the slave. Lu Wu kept mourning and directly confessed. Even if it is a generation of demon gods, in the face of life and death, you have to bow. Be a slave to the slave? I gave you opportunity, but now it's late. Long Fei said coldly, holding his hands in hands, and the furnace of the heavens broke out instantly. Chapter 48:48. Chapter 48:48. Long Fei has a strong face and has no reservations. Beg for mercy? Non-existent. Now, among the heavens, how many pairs of eyes are staring at this place? How can Long Fei yield? Killing chickens and monkeys is the best choice at the moment. Nothing is more appropriate than using the life of 3 demon gods to lay the dragon's supreme power. At this moment, with the last sentence of Long Fei falling, the Zhou shape of the heaven and earth furnace is now floating in the void, and the flames in it are instantly becoming violent. Booming. In the blink of an eye, Lu Wu's body was directly swallowed by flames. Almost visible to the naked eye, a demon power refining. No, save me, save me. Lu Wu is crazy, and under the burning of this flame, there is no resistance. But at this moment, the shackles and the British recruits in the distance are also scared, not to mention saving people, even the courage to shoot. Lord of the Dragon, I advise you to think twice. Yes, today, even if the 3 of me are not right, you have already shot. Lu Wu has been half depleted. Do you still want to kill it? Ying Zhao and Yin said. But the figure is constantly exploding. Wrong? Well, you're also a demon god. How can you have the courage to say such a thing without Billion? If you are wrong, you should pay the price. I am guilty of my death. The price is death. Long Fei said coldly and directly sentenced the death penalty. No, don't kill me. Lord of the Dragon Court, I'm a demon god. You killed me. It is disrespectful to the Yaozu. At that time, the Yaozu will inevitably be difficult for you. Don't kill me. As long as you don't kill me, then everything is easy to say. I can be a slave to the slave. Then even if the demon is coming, I will have to bow when I see you. Lu Wu said again, fight all the pleadings. The luxury of Long Fei can spare him a life. Unfortunately, Long Fei is simply not moving. Now, the wind has been unified. The sage was born, the lich was born, and the final game was opened. At this time, it is simply asking for trouble. Long Fei also absolutely does not believe that the Yaozu will give up its ambition for a Lu Wu. Not to mention a demon god. Even if the 8 demon gods are all dead, afraid that the demon will not move. Moreover, he does not believe that the 3 demon gods will come to Long Ting, and there will be no attention in the heavens. Whether it is heaven or Lingshan, I am afraid that I have already fixed my sight here. Therefore, the demon must die. One thought of this, Long Fei eyes in a horizontal, a cold light flashed in the scorpion, and then his hands lifted. In a melting pot of the heavens and the earth, the endless flame directly wraps Lu Wu's body onto the void. At this moment, the flames directly wrap their bodies, refine their demon power, and melt their demon. Soon, almost a few breaths of time, Lu Wu's body was directly refining and turned into a radiant medicine in the void. Long Fei looked at the formed medicinal herbs, and his eyes flickered. This is the Demon Dan, a veritable Demon Dan. With the body of the demon god, the refining and transformation of life into a Dan, so the power contained in this immortal medicine has been self-evident. At the same time, just in a moment when Lu Wu's breath dissipated and became a medicinal herb completely, the whole world was dark, and the endless demon power, rising from the sky, covered half of the sky. The monsters in the square and millions of miles are even like a sinister sorrow. This is the power of the demon god. This mythical world is really capable of loading garlic. Before Manjusri, the world is sad. The same is true. Now a demon god, but also chaos the world? Give it to me. Long Fei is very upset. Drink a loud sigh, and then slash the air directly to the emptiness above the void. It's all dead, and it's useless to make such a whistle. But what Long Fei didn't know was that the knife went down, and the entire Yaozu were all like the sacred ones. All the Yaozas were banned at this moment, and no one dared to make any sound. And this knife is also the same. Let the demon family far away from thousands of miles away, completely moving. Beijo Luzhou, endless Yaozu. Originally, Beijo Luzhou was a place of bitter cold. After the gods were sealed, even the gods were not willing to come here. 4 of the 8 demon gods are here. Lu Wu is dead. Damn, even my family demon gods dare to kill. This is not to put my world demon in the eyes. The notice goes on, launching the world's Yaozu, and the soldiers are on the dragon court. The 4 are angry. The same as the demon god, the friendship between them is naturally deep. They all came from the precipitation of endless years, and more of them were the sorrowful feelings of rabbits. Because of Lu's death, they also gave birth to infinite fear, for fear that they would become the next Luwu. The so-called first to be strong is to want to take advantage of the present world to the long Ting shot in order to survive. Of course, it's not just the Yaozu who is shocked. As long as Long Ting turned over the Temple of Heaven, it has become the eye of everyone in the days. Heaven Court. The Lingxiobo Hall has been rebuilt, and the Jade Emperor looks at the picture of the condensed light in front of him, including the gods under his hands. At this moment is full of endless fear. What are these means? Is this alchemy? Will a generation of demon gods, life and refining into Dan? That is a demon god. Is this still a person? He is stronger than last time. Who can make him between heaven and earth? It's too horrible. Except for the saints, no one is an enemy. Everyone was shocked and looked at the picture, and there was a trembling in my heart. As for the Jade Emperor, at this time, the eyes are deep, silent, and the atmosphere becomes extremely gloomy. On the contrary, it is too high, but at the moment it is extremely shocking. Refining the demon is Dan? How is this possible? What is this alchemy method? There is no in the eyes. The whole person seems to be stumbling over the general, looking at the smile and the picture of the dragon's mouth, the heart panic. Not good. Then Long Fei has discovered us, and quickly removes the magical power. To panic. Then, the picture in front of me suddenly broke. The same scene also happened on the Lingshan. Originally, the picture above Lingshan suddenly collapsed at this moment. This is a terrible horror. After today, I am afraid that I have already had the capital that is against the enemy. I will inform you that my Lingshan will be fully closed today and close the gate. As the voice said quietly, just a glance, he has already seen the mind of Long Fei. He believes that this time, Long Fei is definitely not just a simple killing of a demon god. This is more representative of the will of Long Fei. He has to compete for 9 days. For a time, let's make a decision directly. At this time, on the top of the dragon, Long Fei held the demon Dan in one hand and the blade of the king in one hand. The blind man looked at the void, and the corner of his mouth outlined a cold smile. He had already known what he was doing today, and he certainly couldn't see heaven and Lingshan. Simply, this scene of Long Fei did not think about concealing and presented it directly to them. Chapter 48-49. Chapter 48-49, The Boundless Void, is terrible. As Lu Wu's breath completely dissipated, Ying Zhao and Yen were completely stupid. At this moment, they realized that the men in front of them were simply unable to attract them. Go! The two of them looked at each other and were ready to retire. At this time, They have no more choices, and escape is their only thought. However, they want to go, but it is late. At the moment when the two figures were moving, they felt a great pressure, and they were directly crushed from the void. In all directions, there is no side pressure. It's like a big clock, just give them the same. Do not, dragon, you dare. Both of them are roaring. This power, let them think about Lu Wu before. Because at this moment, they have fully understood that Long Fei did not think about letting them go. Refining Lu Wu is still not satisfied. Even they must be refining in public. Don't dare? There is still nothing I can't do under the sun. Long Fei said coldly. Killing one is killing. Killing three is also killing. Anyway, it is already a bad thing, and it is no longer possible to have any room for easing. Long Fei has never been a good person, especially now that three people are actively provoking. Long Fei naturally has not let go of their plans. The next moment, Long Fei's hands were lifted, and the furnace was too low. However, this time, it is even more horrible, and it will directly cover the British recruits and the sly figures. Do not. Lord of the Dragon Court, you are forcing the demon to turn your face with you. Just a Lu Wu. The demon may not be how, but if you dare to even move us both, the sage will be angry. Ying Zhao's opening is flustered. Yes, it is panic. In the past, Lu Wu's appearance is in the eyes, and all the life repairs are turned into nothing, and the life is refining into a medicinal herb. This result is simply a nightmare for them. They have countless years, and after the opening of the day, the most powerful one besides the saints, now they have to become a remedy. This result, they can't accept it anyway. For a time, the two began to struggle. It's just a pity that it's useless. When Long Fei used the world's melting pot, their end was already doomed. Unless it is a saint, it is impossible to break free from the control of this power. The next moment, Long Fei once again mobilized the natural fire in Dantian. Hey, the fire is already there, directly rushing along the hands of Long Fei, directly into the furnace of the heavens and earth, entwining the bodies of the two. But at this time, Long Fei felt an inexplicable sense of weakness. It seems that the whole Dantian is slowly closing and stopping the supply of power. Okay, what is going on? Is there any restriction on the use of this power? A dragon flies, and his heart instantly crosses 10,000 alpaca. At this critical moment, if the power in Dantian cannot be used, the natural fire cannot start. This joke can be opened. Fortunately, the flames that entangled in the British and the shackles at the moment are enough. At this moment, the British recruits and squats, the two are entangled in the fire of nature, and the demon power of the whole body has been refining. The breath is from the peak of the Luo, and it goes straight down. The Luo late, the Luo medium, early to Luo, almost every breath, the demon power of the two, will be directly refining. Lord of the Dragon, you must not die. Wait, the saint will not let you go. The return of the Emperor, when is your death? Not only you, even the entire Dragon Court, will pay for your mistakes. Wait, my demon will inevitably level your Dragon Court. The two are squatting and desperate. The same scene has been re-emerged. At this time, there is no return to heaven. They watched Lu Wu under this power and were refining into Dan. At this time, in addition to despair, there is no other thought in the heart. At this time, the change is sudden. Above the void, a purple light washes away, fall directly on the integration of heaven and earth. Hey, Long Fei's heart sank, and this moment he felt that a nameless pressure had fallen on his body. This breath is extremely violent, supreme, as if it is the master force that controls the heavens and the earth, touches an extreme above the ordinary power. Saint, Long Fei's eyes are condensed. As soon as this breath appeared, Long Fei had already guessed it. The only saints can be undoubtedly able to display this power. In an instant, Long Fei's eyes condensed. Looking up, I was seeing a figure standing above the void. It's a girl. Among the saints, the only saint of the Terran is the Emperor of the Demon. The obstacles even turned a demon into a Dan, This palace, no matter where you come from, no matter what your purpose, today, you must kill you, and the world is clean. The niece was cold, and the scorpion was frosty. Although she is still deliberately suppressing at the moment, she can still see that the boundless anger is erupting. As for the reason, you can know without thinking. Because the son-in-law, although it is sanctified by the work of making people, but in the end, she is the demon. Navwanyang. Longfei held his hand and opened his mouth. This voice is naturally because Longfei is the human body. Regardless of the cause and effect of the son-in-law and the human race, this is merit. Longfei is a human being, and it is natural to remember. The niece's face was a little surprised. I thought that Longfei would be infinitely hostile, but I did not expect that Longfei actually performed so openly. Navwanyang, although you are the holy demon, but don't forget, you can still be the mother of the human race. When the Yaozu unified the world, when you were in trouble, you all stood on the stand of the human race. Why do you now ignore the Terran? Longfei said openly. What he said is naturally the battle of the Lich. For this, Longfei does not have much knowledge. But it is certain that if it weren't for the son-in-law, it would be a disaster for the people of the time. But now, the son-in-law's attitude is too resolute, standing directly on the position of the Yaozu. Although Longfei has no fear of saints, it is inevitable that there is still some chilling. The heavens are more and more. The palace is also helpless, but when you appear, it is a heavenly variable, it is a foreign body. This is already against the sky. Nowadays, it is the Tuyu Yaozu, refining the demon, and even rebel. The voice of the son-in-law is cold. A simple way of heaven and earth directly take everything. Longfei sneered, and his mouth blew cold and died. What is the trend of heaven? The maiden, the so-called heaven, is just one way. Although he is a congenital person, but not necessarily, his way is correct. Who stipulates that his way is heaven? Who else stipulates that his way? I must keep it. The niece, I remember when the sky was filled, the blood was dark, the heaven in your mouth. What did you do? Chapter 4850. Chapter 4850. Longfei's voice is like 1,000, one word in one sentence, all of which are shocking words. Question the saints and rebuke the heavens. Throughout the ages, no one dared to be so arrogant except that he won it more than 2,000 years ago. The son-in-law's face was covered with a sullen look, and the face of the proud dragon flew. The power of the saint on the body became more and more stunned. What is a saint? It is a heavenly sage. To put it bluntly, it is because of the heavens that they become saints and they can have this supreme power. Therefore, at this moment, Longfei actually questioned the Tao, which is completely another problem. Let's let go. Even dare to blame the heavens. Who do you think you are? If there is no heaven, life is smeared. Everything is impermanent. Do you still have the opportunity to practice? Have a chance to go today? The voice of the niece is cold, and the killing is invisible. Previously, because of the words of Longfei, the unbearable ones involved in the human race were swept away. She is a sage of heaven and earth, and all who rebel against heaven are sinful. The dragon flies silently, and the expression is a meal. Immediately a sneer emerged from his face. Niwa said that everything in the world and all the operations are the result of the control of Tiandao. But unfortunately, he went to today, and there is no causal relationship with this side. He walked out of the earth without a fake, but all the cultivation, in addition to the system, is the result of his own mind. In order not to be under people, in order not to suffer humiliation, to resist, to guard, but to force himself become a strong man. Therefore, the son-in-law's words have no effect on him. You said it is good. The world can have the present. The soul is recovering, and everything grows. It really does not work with heaven. But now the heavens are the way of one person, or the way of all beings. I think you are clearer than me. When the dragons dominated the sky, who launched the robbery of dragons and phoenixes? The world was first settled, who was around the Terran, created the Protoss, and set the sacred robbing, and then the sacred, enchanting, and fearful of the human race in the name of Purdu's East. In the name of Purdu's East, the banner of the people of the world is harvested. The faith is harvested, and the bureau of the westbound is laid down. Long Fei then asked, one word and one sentence. Each sentence is a heartfelt language. And the son-in-law, his face is deeper at this time, his eyes are cold. Looking at Long Fei, I can't wait to shoot immediately. How? Don't talk. Then I will tell you that it is a saint. It is a heaven. Long Fei fell, and his heart burst into anger. In the ancient world, he set up the avenue of the Tsangxing. Therefore, it is even better to know that today's mythological world is like a scorpion ant, a living being like a livestock, but a group of creatures that the saint have raised on her behalf. Yes, it is shepherding. To say good things, it is the saints who are born in the sky. But in the end, the innate people control the heavens, unite the saints, steal the heavens, and control the sentient beings. To make sentient beings, only surrender, only to accept life. Just like the fate of the gods at the beginning, the control of the life of the soul, the killing and killing, is under control. Therefore, Long Fei does not want to. At the beginning, he was able to resist the fate of the destiny god, killing the temple all the way and killing the Lord God. Today, the same can be for the unyielding heart, angered the sky, fight with the saints, and fight with the heavens. And as the sound of Long Fei fell, the whole world was vast and dark, and it was dark. Presumptuous. Reverse. Big rebellious. The heavens are not allowed. Sister, kill him. In the blink of an eye, 6 sounds broke out from distant unknowns. Contains boundless anger. It is a saint. Heaven and earth's 6 saints. Although they are now in the picture, the words of Long Fei are not the same as their eyes and ears. So now, let's go directly to the law, angering Long Fei and condemning Long Fei as a counter. And Long Fei, the corner of his mouth is still a face of indifference. This is the end of the matter, only hard. Moreover, when he spoke these words from Long Fei, he was already destined to overthrow the world under the control of this saint. The saint is not dead. The thief is not. The Taoist Hong Jun, the thief of the sacred. All right, 2,000 years ago, the wind can make you all the sacred. Today, I will fly this banner, Long Ting, to reenact the world, establish a new order, Long Fei said. Firm and unparalleled. After today, the world has been unfolding. Fear of shrinking, waiting for people to come to the door. Simply take the initiative to attack, to tell the world. Rumble, rumble, rumble. At this time, the endless thunder descended from the sky, and the earth began to tremble constantly. Booming, the stars twinkled, turning into a boundless spark, falling into the sky. Long Fei's eyes also became a bit dignified. At this time, Tianting and Lingshan, and even the local government, heard the words of Long Fei. This person is too arrogant. This is going against the sky. The world has been murdered, the saints face to face. He dares to be so arrogant. Today is his death. I am waiting for the gods, and immediately send troops. Support the saints, and kill the evil spirits. This is Tianting, and the Jade Emperor sits in the middle of the road and orders it. Insulting the saints and devoting the heavens, this child has been enchanted. The time has come to bring order out of chaos, to suppress the demons. The notice goes on, and the matter of closing the mountain is directly invalidated. Sihong Bodhisattva, this time you led the Luohan Supreme. Lingshan Buddha repair, with the saints, suppress this. As a smile, faintly said. Even he did not think that Long Fei was so arrogant, facing the face of a saint, dared to be so arrogant. Roaring saints, talking about heaven. In his view, this is the way to find a way out. No matter how strong his strength is, it is useless in front of the saints. The land government won the town above the Jurassic Temple. Looking at the 8 kings who have been by the 5 flowers, the mouth is indifferent. At this time, the white figure gets into it. The world is turbulent. The Lord of the Dragon Court is willing to reverse the Holy Land, and the heavens are moving in the mountains. Bai Qi said, when listening to the report, the expression in the eyes is sensational. So fast, it seems that he should have any cards. Otherwise, he should have the confidence and the sages. Winning the mouth and laughing, said lightly. However, this is also good. In this case, how can Da Qin make him specialize in the former? White led 1,000,000 Qin soldiers, aisle, and went straight to Long Ting. If the emperor handles the things in the land, he will go. Wen said, White is in order. The whites should be down, and then the figure turned, leading 1,000,000 Qin soldiers in the direction of the human world, step by step to dissipate. The picture turns again above the dragon court. Long Fei looked at the anger of the heavens and the earth, and the thunder climbed into the sky, directly ignoring it, and his eyes were only locked in the son-in-law. Odd girl, is this your attitude? Long Fei said again, in the words, there is endless disappointment. His respect is only because the son-in-law is the ancestors, because of the virtues of the son-in-law. It is definitely not because of the sage status of the son-in-law. The son-in-law is silent, but her eyes are colder. Seeing this scene, Long Fei's eyes flashed, his hands lifted, the heavens and earth furnaces, the natural fire, and the British recruits and crickets shrouded again and began to refine. This is his attitude. The sages in front do not accept it. Chapter 48:51. Chapter 48:51. In an instant, a hoarse and mourning spread through the void. Let's go. This is the front of the palace. You dare to shoot? The son-in-law angered. She never thought that Long Fei was so violent. She had already appeared, and Long Fei even dared to face her face and refine the other two demon gods. Nothing dare not. I have already said, if the Nyang Nyang wants to shoot, I am also worried about the heart of Long Fei. Long Fei said, say this. His respect for the son-in-law does not mean that he can give up his insistence for the son-in-law. Would you like to suppress you when you don't do it? The son-in-law's voice was cold and cold. At this moment, all the touches of Long Fei's words have disappeared. Be free, but it is not so easy to suppress me. Long Fei said indifferently. He didn't know the power of the sage, but the power of the flaming red lotus was incompetent. Even if it is a saint, Long Fei does not believe that he can suppress himself in seconds. Between the words, the range of motion between the hands of Long Fei is getting bigger and bigger. The power of the world melting pot is also getting stronger and stronger. Annihilating help. Emil, I don't want to die. I don't want to be a remedy. Mother, save us. The two asked for help. At this moment, with the action of Long Fei, they can clearly perceive that their power is rushing at a rapid speed. The demon power is swallowed, and the blood of the gods is refining. It seems that this fire is to squeeze all their power. Dragon, you stop. Navois snorted. You can't live your hand. You can take the shot, but I have absolute certainty. Before you shoot, they will refine them into Dan. Long Fei was unmoved and said coldly, this is the end of the matter, even if the saint is open. On the dragon court, everyone took a breath of air. This is a saint. Although Xuan Yu does not know what level the saint is, it has long been known that the saints have surpassed the heavens and the earth and traveled around the world. Only this point, you can guess the strength of the saint. The big bad guy is too violent. So, going directly to the saints, will it be an opponent? Xuan Yu worried. After all, now, in the Dragon Court, there is not much combat power available. Don't say that it is facing the saints, even if it is facing the demon big demon. Fear that they are not opponents. Long Fei brother never does things that are not sure. Since Long Fei's brother has already shot, it shows that he already has the means to deal with them. Xiao Ye said, his face is very firm. For Long Fei, there is absolute trust. It should be okay. Adults are not smashing people. This time, it should be related to the trip to the local government. Tushan Xiaorong analyzed. I have to say that in the end, it is a 1,000-faced demon. Its wisdom is like a demon, even more enchanting than enchanting. In the phrase, I directly analyze the reasons why Long Fei shot at the moment. However, at this moment, Long Fei ignored the saint and resolutely shot. It is because, at this moment, the government has been fully controlled, and if he is still conservative, it will be a little bit of a family. What's more, the more important thing is that the system will wake up at any time. And this is also the real reliance of Long Fei. However, no one knows about the secrets of the system, and naturally, it is impossible to guess this. At this time, Long Fei's hands are still moving, and the mourning sounds of both the singer and the singer are endless. Even now, their demon body has begun to melt. At this moment, the son-in-law can no longer stand it. To the dragon, it is a palm shot. Boom! In an instant, the heaven and earth momentum is running in the hands of the son-in-law, as if this moment, the power of the heavens and the earth are all gathered in the palm of the son-in-law. Long Fei's face changed abruptly and suddenly looked up. I have to say that the power of the saints makes Long Fei feel terrible. Kowloon Royal Sky. As a last resort, Long Fei can only give up control of the world's melting pots and slash the sky. Booming. Kowloon came out of nowhere, carrying a dragon fly against the sky. But at this moment, the tens of thousands of knives cannot break the power of the son-in-law. As if the mud cows into the sea, just touched, it directly turned into fly ash. Not self-reliant. Under the saints, everything is an ant. The voice of the son-in-law was indifferent. At the moment, a palm falls, and my heart is a big sigh of relief. Because the origin of Long Fei, although he is not clear, but Long Fei must be a messy person. Even Tiandao began to mess up because of the arrival of Long Fei. So even if she is full of jealousy for Long Fei. But now, under the palm of one hand, the power of Long Fei can't resist it, and she can relax her heart. Long Fei's expression is condensed, and his heart is equally strange. Because he knows his strength, under this knife, Ronaldo has no life, and the quasi-saint has to avoid. Unexpectedly, in front of the son-in-law, even the palm of the hand of the son-in-law could not make a decision. Dragonfly, do you recognize yourself now? Do you think you are qualified to go to heaven? No, in fact, you are not in the eyes of Tiandao. Even if I wait for a saint, I want to marry you. It is easy. Opening. The words are already proud. The next moment, the son-in-law's eyes cast on the two of the heavens and earth furnaces. Then I took it, and I took it with a palm. Rumble, rumble. A huge roar broke out between the heavens and the earth, and the sword of the king of the kingdom could not break the power of the son-in-law. Nowadays, the melting pot of this world cannot naturally ignore the sage. Puff. Long Fei figure swayed, and an arrow sprang from the mouth. The world melting pot, although only his power, but the natural fire, but burst out from Dantian. If the furnace was destroyed today, the fire of nature was also attacked by this saint's power and returned to Dantian. Therefore, together with Long Fei itself, it has also been countered. At this moment, Long Fei felt his body bursting. Especially under the breath of the son-in-law, it is even more difficult to breathe. Even, it is the body of creation, and it is running very slowly at this moment, and it cannot be repaired by Long Fei. Between a move, Long Fei was defeated and suffered serious injuries. The British recruited and regained the freedom, and the rest of his face was robbed. Turning to look at Long Fei, they are all a haze. Damn, kid, this seat swears. Now summon the demon, destroy your dragon court. Odd girl, although this dragon court is still small, but the power of air transport is not weak. Just take this opportunity, change the dragon court to the demon court, become the starting point of my demon family to fight the world. Ing Zhao said that the body of the half-man, the demon power began to re-aggregate. The son-in-law sighed slightly, watching the demon power lose the majority of the two, and then lifted it. A purely incomparable demon began to gather in their hands, and then fell into two people. This demon, naturally, was the refining of the world before. Nowadays, the melting pots of the heavens and the earth have collapsed, and this demon power naturally returns to the heavens and the earth. Long Fei looked up at the movement of the son-in-law, and his heart was also as sudden. Mom, the saint is so strong, but my current strength, even if it is not far from the winning hook, why is the gap so big? Long Fei's heart is extremely depressed. At this moment, I feel the boundless pressure. Do you really want to use the eternal life again? Long Fei thought, looking at the proud son-in-law and the British recruit, hesitant. Chapter 48:52. Chapter 48:52. The power of the saint is too horrible, beyond the expectations of Long Fei. The natural fire in his dantian is powerful, but it is useless to face the saint. Otherwise, the heaven and earth furnace will not collapse under the son-in-law. The skills that are now in control are even more impossible. There is a level of difference in the power attribute between the two. The difference between heaven and earth, the difference between clouds and mud. In the midst of silence, Long Fei's mind emerged from the power of the level of victory. In an instant, Long Fei realized it. Even now, his combat power has improved a lot, and he can even fight with the sticks. Even the sticks has used the innate treasure, and it has not been cheap. Originally, Long Fei thought that he was already at that level, but now it seems that there is still a gap. As for the sticks, it is feared that the river did not exert that level of power at all, in order to blind the heavens and not to expose it too early. Mom, the river is wrong. If it weren't for the sticks, I would have to wait until the system wakes up and then set off the war. After I understood it, Long Fei's heart screamed at the sticks. The dark road of the sticks is really so suffocating. At that time, the sticks was about to be refining, and even the power could not be used. However, there is no way. Now that this is the point, even the saints have already shot. Long Fei has no extra choices. Even if it is a life, Long Fei cannot give up. There is no turning arrow in the opening bow, and the demon has already killed. He can even be sure that the next thing Long Ting will face is the endless demon, but the heaven and the mountain. If he let go now, Long Ting will be abolished. As soon as I read this, Long Fei's eyes sank and once again linked to the eternal life. But at this moment, the void once again produces fluctuations, a scarlet sea of blood, directly from the endless void, rewinding, booming. The long, empty sky, because of the pervasive blood, directly turned into a scarlet. Navwan Yang Yang, are you going to shoot the Terran? A voice fell, full of indifference. Not someone else, it is the winning hook. The figure of the winning hook appears from above the void and looks cold. Long Fei's heart is loose. Winning the hook, at least on your own side, with a high-end combat power, even if it is a real war, even if it is not worthy of the saint, at least it has its own power. The heavens and the earth are different, and dare to scream in front of the palace? The son-in-law's face was cold, and she did not give a face to win. Different? Ha ha ha, that's a good thing. This seat is really a different kind. It's not in the 5 elements, jumping out of the 3 realms. So what is your saint in me? Your heavenly way, what special is it? With a big laugh, the suffocation of the body broke out instantly. Want to fight? Come on. Come on, I want to see this alien. You are a sage. How good it is it really invincible? Win the killing, and take the initiative to invite the war. Win the hook, not rude. Yes, at this time, a voice appeared. Very majestic with a bit of reprimand, but also with great pain. Hey! 3 figures smashed through the void. It is Long Fei, and it is also attracted by the 3 people in front of him. Inexplicably, Long Fei actually felt that his mind was silent, as if there was a great relationship with the 3. When the hook, the goddess is different from other saints. At least, the goddess is the mother of the human race. There is the merits of making up the heavens and creating the virtues. Among the 3, one in the middle said, winning the hook and screaming, his face is still not good, but his body suffocation is faintly falling, and then the figure turns and comes to Long Fei. Kid, you are so fierce. How long does it take to dare to fight with the saint? Winning a hook and said to Long Fei. Long Fei's face was dark, and a touch of helplessness emerged. Don't say it. It was pitted by the sticks. Long Fei fainted, and then he would tell the scene of the fight in the river. However, what makes Long Fei unexpected is that the winning hook is not ridiculous, but instead looks at Long Fei with a dignified look. Can you refine the sticks? Winning a hook is unbelievable. The chances that the previous power is now used again and got some chances. Long Fei said, "Do not explain too much. After all, super alchemy is the power of the system. Long Fei is not going to say it. In any case, since your power can refine the sticks, that step is far too far from the sky. You said it is good. After the breakthrough, your level of power will rise to a height, and that will no longer be simple power. More belongs to one's own way. But the Styx River exists only in the open space. Even if I use that kind of power, it is not necessarily able to control the Styx." When Hook said, "For Long Fei, it is also highly respected." Long Fei glimpsed, completely did not expect there is still such a saying. It seems that that power is really not simple. After the system girl wakes up, I will understand it again. Maybe it will give me unexpected gains. Long Fei thought. However, obviously, this power is only the most appropriate explanation for the system sister. After all, even the Styx River was shocked, and it was impossible to detect the existence of this power. It can be seen that even if it is a win, it is afraid that nothing will be seen. Just it's not the time now. After all, the saints are in front of them, and the war is on the verge of exploding. Where is the time to consider these? Right? Who are the three of them? Long Fei asked. Can let the wind hooks automate. Give the people who come out, do not think the identity will be extraordinary. These three, presumably you also know that the Terran three emperors. When Hook said, there is no hidden. What? Long Fei was shocked. At the moment when the three appeared, Long Fei had a strange feeling, as if it had a close relationship with the three. I didn't think of it. This time, it turned out to be the three emperors. The ancient three emperors, the leader of the human race. Open the spirit of the people, educate the world, guide the people, establish the kingdom, and open the civilization. All kinds of things, each one is to help you go. No wonder it gave me a feeling of infinite closeness. It turned out to be the ancestor of the human race. Long Fei exclaimed, and his heart was relieved. The Terran three emperors appeared and won the hook. The purpose has been self-evident. Naturally, it is for the Dragon Court. There are three of them. Long Fei believes that even the saints dare not act rashly. Sure enough, in the dragon's mind, the face of the son-in-law has become extremely embarrassing. A face of frost, a cold-eyed stare at the three emperors of the Terran, the breath of the shock, the holy power. Good, very good. Have you got out of the cave? Do you want to care for the heavens and the enemy? I forgot, if it is not this holy, what kind of embarrassed the Terran will face now? The voice of the son-in-law is very cold, and she says quietly, for a time, the wrath of the saints, the turmoil of heaven and earth. Chapter 48:53. Chapter 48:53. The power of the saints is above the heavens and the earth. Before, it was extremely horrible that Long Fei slammed the demon and rebuked the saints and triggered the murder of the heavens and the earth. For example, today the Taoist sage directly swears out the power of killing, and its power can be imagined. Almost for a moment, the world is dull, the darkness is shrouded, and the boundless sky is dark. Is it because the palace has been around for a long time, and you have forgotten what is called awe? The voice of the son-in-law sank. When this is said, it is already equal to questioning. For a time, the three emperors were silent, winning the cold eyes, and Long Fei clenched his fists. As for the other people on the Long Ting, they can't bear this kind of power at the moment. They're just breaths. They have already made them extremely tormented. If they don't have the power of the Dragon Court, they are afraid that they have already fallen to the ground. Suddenly, at this time, one of the three emperors suddenly came out and then sighed heavily. Women's niece, why bother? A question. The air also becomes extremely intense at this time. Long Fei's sight was also transferred to this person. This is Fuxia Huang. Before the son-in-law was sanctified, the two were brothers and sisters. After the reincarnation of the Emperor Fuxi, he became the Emperor of the Terran. The Wind Hook explained to Long Fei. Long Fei nodded. He never thought about this. Although I know the relationship between Fuxi and the son-in-law from the myths he knows, I did not expect it. There is such a layer relationship in the middle. Big brother, you really shouldn't be involved in this matter. This person is a heavenly variable, but a person outside the Tao, and he will die. The heavenly rejection is already a mortal body. Especially now, he is chaotic, moving to the mountains. The demon gods, the cause and effect of the heavens have been fixed. Whoever is tainted with him will be taken by the heavens and will not end. The son-in-law's voice is unbearable. In this sentence, let Dragon's heart instantly condense. Tet is terrible. He himself did not expect that he is now in this mythical world, and it has already touched so many right and wrong in the invisible. And it has become so serious that whoever has cause and effect with himself will not end. This is simply to destroy yourself. But there are some things that have to be done. Niwa, I believe you can also know that the heavens are in chaos. That is, the Taoist ancestors must maintain the balance of the heavens and the earth through the catastrophe again and again. You also feel that such a heavenly way can maintain the balance of the world. The matter is already here. We must make a new innovation. Abandon the heavens and find another life. And the three of us have gone out today, and we have also performed it. We can't know how much this person can finally do, but my human life is on him, Fushi said quietly. However, these words can only be heard by the three emperors and the Niwa. Is that Longfei and Windhoek can't hear a minute? Of course, this is also the deliberate mutuality between them. The actress stunned and looked at Longfei with incredible thoughts, and then her hands moved to form a direct isolation. Big brother, impossible. He has not even stepped out of the final step. How could it be that? Without saying anything else, the Taoist ancestors have already established their fate, and the heavens are not allowed. Only this point, he has no possibility of surviving. Do you still think that he can survive in my hands? Or can he survive under the blame of heaven? The son-in-law shielded the void and said that he was very worried about Fushi. An attempt to change Fushi's plan. But Fushi shook his head. I know what you mean, but many things are risky. Fushi shook his head and sighed, and finally said quietly, obviously, he has also made his own decision, and never change. At this time, among the outside world, Longfei and Windhoek stood side by side. You said, what are they talking about at this time? Longfei asked. What can be? The center of discussion is nothing more than you. Winning a hook in a corner, said lightly. Although the saints and sons and daughters shielded the void, the content they talked about can be known without guessing. Longfei is not allowed. At this moment, the topic they talk about can only be him. The sage will destroy him, but the three emperors will protect him. Soon, after a while, the void returned to normal, and the void of the son-in-law's shield disappeared at this moment. Longfei's eyes fixed in the past, and I saw that the holy power in the hands of the son-in-law was already brewing. It seems that it is a collapse. Longfei said, this result is also expected by him. The niece is holy, although she mourns the love of the human race, although she still mourns the relationship between Fushi. But the relationship between heaven and earth, after all, made its own choice. This choice naturally leads to the current situation. Unexpectedly, heavenly sage, the only reliance is heaven, and we have now stood on the opposite side of heaven. So the son-in-law will make this choice. It is reasonable. Windhoek said, there is no accident. The three emperors of the Terran, do you really want to force the palace to shoot? The son-in-law was as cold as ice, but it was revealed that it was killing. Nvuan Yang Yang, if we can, we don't want to do it with the goddess. But the goddess wants to move the dragon today. We can only try it. If there is offense, I still hope that the girl-in-law will forgive her. Another person said that the sword was in the hands. Longfei understands in his heart. At the moment when this sword appears, Longfei's heart already knows the identity of this person. Xianyuan Huang. The sword has the sun and the moon, the grain and the mulberry, and the moment of the sword, there is endless humanity. Can have this kind of breath. Only the soldiers of the humanity, Xianyuan, Xinjian. Boom! Similarly, next to Xianyuan Huang, another person walked out, handheld giant tripod, looked at the son-in-law with a dignified look. I am the emperor of the Terran, and naturally I have to find a way out for the Terran. Moreover, these thousands of years in the cave of the fire for this heaven could be considered a phase. If you really want to fight, I also want to see look heavenly sage, who is stronger than my humanity, who is stronger. Long Fei's eyes flashed, and he knew this person's identity. God no. Okay, a man of the three emperors. If this is the case, then there is no need to say more. Fight! The women were anxious, and they were in a hurry. In the next moment, the Holy Spirit in his hands turned around and condensed 9 huge swords directly above the void. This knife comes out, contains endless Tian Wei. Even if it is Long Fei, it feels infinite oppression. This kind of power, even if it is the blade of the king, can't be compared. Kid, be careful. This son-in-law is really willing. It is a 9-day knife. It seems at this time, the war really broke open. Windhoek said, however, there is no fear of showing anything. The only thing that is there is excitement and expectation. As if in front of this scene, he has waited for countless times. Long Fei is silent, indifferent, but the line of sight is quietly turning, looking at the British move and the shackles. The knives are 9. The maiden is really decisive. If so, let me fight you first. At this time, Fushi took a step forward. Then, with his hands painted, the world is born with gossip. Chapter 48:54. Chapter 48:54. When Fushi shot, he knew if there was any. If I want to have it, there is no day. At this moment, Fushi, calm and self-contained, like a of creation, hands painted, void, Wujishing Taiji, Teijishinji, 1 life 2, 2 students 3, 3 students gossip. This power is terrible, all innate. Do not say anything else. Even if the saint is too high, the power of the enlightenment of the practice is nothing but a gossip. In this respect, Fushi has already gone too far before. Only this point can be seen, how terrible the power of Fushi. At this time, the son-in-law's 9-day knives also formed at this time, and fell from the void. Brush the brush. The knives are constantly flashing. The 9-day sword is a magic weapon for the saints. Its power is self-evident. It is only a moment that there's a horrible force of extinction that cannot be described. But this kind of power has made Long Fei have a kind of heart. Is this the power of the saint? It is really strong. Long Fei said in his heart for a moment, said lightly. At this time, I realized the true terror of the saint before the system said, because this power is not purely a category of spiritual practice, but has touched a kind of Tao, an absolute control over the power. As usual, killing is killing. Take the sword of the sky and destroy all beings. Reassure, although the power of the saint is strong, the heavens are not the only ones. Although they are supreme, they are not supreme. And the power of Fuxia Huang is also not to be underestimated, although it has been set too much. But congenital gossip, not as simple as you think. Windhoek said, at this time of the battle, they simply could not intervene. In particular, Long Fei, who has never broken through that step, even if he wants to shoot, is also full of energy. Long Fei did not turn his eyes. After listening to the wind, the line of sight was fixed in the void. Such a battle will not happen much in the past, because the saint is already the strongest in this world. No one has ever dared to shoot with the saint and dare to shoot the saint. Especially after the sanctification of the saints, it was rarely shot. In addition to the seal of the gods, the saints basically did not go out after being suppressed by the saints. Therefore, today's World War I, even if it is witnessed, is also an opportunity. Long Fei's eyes are always fixed on the congenital gossip. Winning the hook is the result of the battle, but the dragonfly is not the same. Long Fei is concerned about the battle itself. The power of the son-in-law belongs to the heavens, and the mysterious and mysterious. It is impossible to see through. But here at Long Fei, there is nothing to be seen. At this moment, the dragon's eternal life is shining. He can even capture the traces of the knives. A strong magic weapon. It is a magic weapon for the saints. The power is shocking. Long Fei sighed. At this moment, he was able to clearly feel that the power of the whole world was shivering in the sky, and under the endless power, only the fisherman surrendered. This is not counting. Long Fei can feel a kind of rhythm of the Tao, mysterious, as if this knife can capture all the weaknesses of the heavens and the earth, every move and fall, with the power of supreme suppression. But just a few eyes, Long Fei will no longer pay attention. Because of this power, although it is arrogant, it is the power of heaven that needs to rely on it. Tiandao has long been under the control of Daozu Hongjun, and this power can only be used by the saints who have entered the heavens. Even if it is tougher, even if you see the fundamentals, it is difficult to let Long Fei have any movements. Instead, it is Fuxawang. When Fuxi painted a gossip, Long Fei felt an inexplicable incitement. The quiet Dantian started to run wildly at this moment. If it wasn't for him, the entire Dantian would be like a chaos, wrapped in a thick outer shell, and Long Fei could not guarantee that it would cause any terrible changes. However, this change has also made Long Fei's heart full of yearning. At this time, the eternal life of the eternal life is fixed above the congenital gossip. Heavy picture, directly branded in the eyes. Then Long Fei could feel it. At this time, there was no pause in Dantian. The innate images portrayed in Long Fei's eyes were all imprinted in Dantian. Rumble, rumble. At this moment, Long Fei could clearly understand that Dantian was roaring. It seems that these 8 kinds of congenital images that have been branded in the past have become part of Dantian. This change is good or bad. Long Fei is not clear, but between the faint, he can already feel it. Along with the fact that one's own body has changed slightly, it seems that you can exert the power of congenital gossip. Of course, it is naturally impossible to compare with Fuxi in terms of power, but it is enough for Long Fei to have such a chance. But all but except Long Fei, no one knows. Even Fuxi in the battle has no perception. At this time, the Fuxi on the void controls the gossip and crosses the saint. Even if it is the power of the sword, under the power of the gossip, is completely useless, and the saint's ability to destroy the world cannot be found. But this is no wonder. Congenital gossip, all-encompassing, and Fuxi Huang is the way to get it. The power is self-evident. Booming. At this time, the knives of the sky disappeared. The female nephew is still cold. The power of congenital gossip is really strong, but you should know that I still have a lot of means. 9 knives are just the most MES among many of my means. Can you break the knives and break the refining pot? Can you move the refining pot and break the mountain river community? The son-in-law asked coldly. Fuxi Huang was silent. Under the question of the son-in-law, I did not say a word. The maiden has the means to display it. The means of Fuxahuang is not enough, and we are. Xinyuan Huang and Shinong Huang open, step forward. The 3 face the son-in-law. The 3 emperors of the Terran. Are you going to turn the sky? At this moment, a sigh of anger, falling from the void. Hey! The 3 figures came at the same time. Heaven, heaven, and Yuan sure. Instant dragon-fly scorpion must be. Now, how this situation looks like a decisive battle. Heaven and Earth's 6 saints directly fell to the master. Not only that, the time that is being considered in the mind of Long Fei, above the entire void, once again the black clouds swept, and the pressure of the Uganda was as if the entire sky was covered. The saint is on the top, and the heavenly court is a million-day soldier. Come and slay the demon. The saint is on the top. Lingshan leads 1,000,000 Buddha repairs and comes to the demon slayer. The son-in-law is on the top. The 3 are on the top, and the demon is coming to suppress the dragon court. The forces of the 3 parties are like thunder, and the soldiers are on the side. In the eyes of Long Fei, the cold light flashed. Heaven, Lingshan, Yaozu, the 3 tribes, the goal is the same. That is, he is a dragon. Everything, it seems to be a dead end. Chapter 48:55. Chapter 48:55 Dark Void is like the end. The 3 forces are the strongest between heaven and earth, and at the same time aim at one existence, which has never been seen since ancient times. And Long Ting, naturally, has become the focus of attention in the world. 1,000 people inside and outside the square, a Taoist face flustered. Come on! The chaos finally appeared. The foregone conclusion? Impossible. The beginning of this chaos. The immortal world has already produced induction. If it is so easy to end, why should my ancestors be so flustered? Lord of the Dragon, Long Fei, it looks like it is time to stop the team. I hope this time my choice is not wrong. The Taoist said. One flashed and went straight to Long Ting. In the land, the river is turning. Sty River, you are really sinking. The last time you were not the Emperor's shot, your Styx has been squeezed and refining. In that case, you can hold on to the power of your Shura. Dongwei Taihao said, that kind of power is that I use force to attack the heavens. It is too wasteful to use it on him. Moreover, the river is the legacy of the power of the man. How could it be refining so easily? But the kid is really Nyobi. Only 2 days actually caused so many moths. Now, even the saints have shot, with the 3 tribes of the Terran, cannot keep him, said the river. Not at all. The origin of this kid is unknown. Maybe there is any means behind it. We don't know. And there is also a great emperor. I feel that his strength can already be sacred. Taiwa said, useless, look at it. Anyway, today, whether it is the end or the beginning, there will always be a result. Stupid said. Taiwa nodded. Before the two, the water of the endless river of the river flowed into a picture. This picture is above the dragon court. When the picture turns, Long Fei looks at the forces of the 3 parties and is also taking a breath. In this scene, he is not surprised. I did not expect that the speed is so fast. Oh, it's really fast. Kid, this time it's not good. Winning a sneer, the whole body's suffocation breathes invisibly. This kind of posture, when you look at it at a glance, you know that you are not good, and you are clearly thinking about extermination of the Dragon Court. Although it is said that this group of people has a lot of high-end combat power, there are few that can survive the anger of Long Fei. Unfortunately, there are many people who win, especially the Yaozu, including Kuan Peng. The 5 demon gods are the same. The purpose has been self-evident. What I think is definitely to take the Dragon Court instead. In the heart of Long Fei, it was a silence. The current situation is extremely unfavorable to Long Ting. The power of the 3 parties is not to say, just 4 saints. It is enough to shock the world. Let the dragon fly scalp numb. Very good. The 3 emperors, you have recognized the current form. This is the thief of the heavens. This world does not allow him. You want to stand for him? Yuan began to speak coldly, a subclass full of disdain. Indeed, in terms of the current form, Long Ting has no chance of winning, and it is basically a dead end. The targets of the heavens, even if it is arrogant, can only drink hate. The saints are joking. We are not standing for anyone, but it is a glimmer of hope for the Terran. Fushi Huang said faintly, so far, do you still think he still has hope? Is it possible? Or do you think that with the presence of the 3 of you, plus the existence of a non-human, non-ghost, non-demon, can you counter the 4 of us? Tong Tian teaches the chief sword in the hands of the sword, cold and cold. At this time, the suffocation of the winning hook is also condensed to the extreme. You know that you have your heavens, but you don't have to. You can crush everything, winning the body and moving above the void. At this time, the wind hook has also been ignited. 3 times, it was excluded from the heavens and the earth, even if the clay figurine had 3 points of fire. Moreover, this is still a master of the gloom. Hey, at this time, the void is another wave of fluctuations. A Taoist person appears directly between the heavens and the earth, watching the arrogant Tong Tian and the winning hook, and smiles gently. You why? This is the cause and effect between Long Ting and the 3 parties. It is better for me to take a step back and let them solve it themselves. The Taoist said, Zhen Yuanzi, what do you mean? You know that this battle is against the sky, but they still let them solve it themselves. Do you want to see the big chaos in the 3 realms? Too resentful. This person, official town Yuanzi. That can only say that they have no ability to do it. Since they want to maintain their own ethics, they will come up with their own ability and rely on a few saints. It is impossible to say no. Jin Yuanzi's eyes narrowed and said faintly. When this statement came out, his position was extremely clear. Just stood in the dragon court. Long Fei is also a face-to-face. He has no slight intersection with Zhang Yuanzi, and can even say that he has never met. It is totally unclear why Zhang Yuanzi will choose to stand on his own side. Well, a good old ancestor, I used to see you as a good old man. Now I can't think of it. You actually have a wolf ambition, and you want to subvert the three worlds. Yuan Shi Tianzuan's face was cold. Now, the emergence of Zhang Yuanzi has also made the whole situation confusing. Whether it is the three emperors, or Win the Hook, or Zhang Yuanzi, the strength is already above the quasi-holy, and they have already found their own strength. Sacred people say this. Isn't it the same as before? But it is the old way. I made a choice this time. Zhang Yuanzi calmly said that he did not care about the threat of Yuan Shi Tianzuan. The brothers don't panic, but they're a group of people who want chaos. We have 6 people together. They can't turn any waves. At this time, 2 figures came. It is the 2 Western saints who are leading and Quasi-Dyke. Below, the dragonfly's scorpion is getting thicker and thicker, and an unprecedented humiliation emerges above his heart. These people are coming for themselves, but they are the ones that are the least useful. If you have the strength to fight with the saints, then even if they come, what can they do? What can I do? Unfortunately, I am only 1 step away from the last step, and the system is still being repaired. Naturally, even if I want to break through, I am also powerless. With the advent of the Western Holy Trinity, the expressions of several people have become very strong. In particular, the son-in-law, at this time, broke the deadlock, and the body moved, dragging a green pot in the hand, condescending. Several brothers, a few of them have been handed over to you. This dragonfly's obstacles are handed over to me to kill. The son-in-law said, and the eyes were raging, because now the power that Long Fei has mastered is extremely terrifying. Between heaven and earth, the strongest people under the saints have already stood on the side of Long Fei. If Long Fei does not die, it will inevitably cause chaos in the world. As long as you kill Long Fei, everything will return to normal. Chapter 48:56. Chapter 48:56. When the woman is moving, the chaos will start. Winning the Hook figure instantly shocked the woman, but did not break through. A long sword fell directly. It is the master of Tong Tian. Tong Tian teaches the master to hold the Qingping sword, and a sword is thrown out, and the heavens and the earth are dead. Even if you win the Hook, you can only avoid it in the face of this power. The next moment, the suffocation of the scorpion, the blood of the nether, appeared in the moment after winning the Hook, swept the sky. Non-human, non-monster, non-ghost monsters. Look at this seat today to marry you. Tong Tian teaches the Lord Sneer. Go to your mother's saint. What happened to Laozi, who is not a demon? I have jumped out of the 3 realms. I am no longer in the 5 elements. I am out of control. Is it heaven and earth? If you have the ability to smash your seat, you can close your mouth if you can't stand it. For the 3rd time, he was insulted by the saints. The anger in the heart of the wind has also completely erupted, almost embarrassing. A little face is not given, it is directly open. I don't know the so-called, in front of the saints, the courage is so arrogant. Give me a slap. Tong Tian teaches the main eye as a sword smashed out, and forced to win the Hook. And to win the Hook, the body of the zombie incarnate between the moments, endless suffocation, fangs and bones, especially infiltrate people. At the same time, the 3 emperors also want to shoot, but the Yuan began to pick up, and others have also blocked. For a time, the entire void was turned into a battlefield. The existence of the heavens and the earth, the battle at this time. Now see who can still save you. The son-in-law snorted, and the scent of the refining pot in her hand was shining, and the light shone. At the same time, The power of a horrible devourer is falling from the sky, and the entire long court is wrapped in it. Do not. No. What is this? Don't. My body is out of control. What is going on? Don't. Suddenly, a scream broke out on the dragon court. Is those demon people? Even the Tushan foxes were not spared, and under the power of this refining pot, they began to be swallowed. Tushan Xiaoyao looked at the scene in front of him and desperately wanted to resist, but it did not help at all. Xianmen Air Transport, get up. At this time, Longfei did not hesitate to use the Xianmen Air Transport. The niece is too embarrassed. The power of this refining pot is extremely horrible. If it does not use force to resist, afraid that it will not take a moment, the entire demon family, including Longfei, even Xuanyu, etc., will be swallowed up. Among them, booming. In an instant, the Xianmen airway broke out in an instant, and the air transport Jinlong hovered up, directly protecting the entire Longting. Xianmen Air Transport. Useless. The power of heaven and earth to suppress everything, let alone your power. Heaven is the three realms, Yulong Ting is the inverse class. Nua's voice is cold. At this moment, facing Longfei, I have not asked about everything before. Or, in the moment he and Fushi fight, the relationship between her and the human race has come to an end. Useless? Longfei snorted. In the next moment, Longfei's figure skyrocketed and the ground was pulled up. In any case, he is the Lord of the Dragon, and everything at this moment is up to him. Let him escape? Let him escape? Impossible. No, it is dry. Even if it is not, Longfei will never escape without fighting. Kowloon Royal Sky. Longfei shouted, and the figure went straight to the locked demon tower with the power of the King's Blade. He couldn't watch the Long Ting being overwhelmed and indifferent. He knew that the people on the Long Ting, in the face of the power of the refining pot, did not have the slightest resistance. I want to save them from suffering. There is only one way, and that is to dry the demon pot. Do not be self-sufficient, relying on your current ability, but also want to break through the refining pot? Innocent, or just to swallow you, directly refining you, and everything will be over. Nua said silently. Face there is no slight expression on it. It seems that at this moment, the moment that Longfei shot, it is already a dead person. Brush. At this time, Longfei waved a knife. Brush. The tens of thousands of knives rise from the air and directly smash into the refining pot. It can make Longfei unexpected. This time, the empty space of the refining pot is suddenly opened. The next moment, it directly sends out the infinite power of devouring. It is the tens of thousands of knives that are swallowed in this moment. And Longfei, at this moment, felt a kind of uncontrollable force to pull himself. Even his current physical strength is hard to resist. Booming. The power of the refining pot is getting more and more stunned, and the figure of Longfei is swallowed up at a speed visible to the naked eye. In this process, no matter how Longfei struggles, it will not help. No. Longfei. Longfei brother. Grown-ups. In an instant, the endless grief broke out from the dragon court. At this moment, their hearts are extremely desperate, but more, it is the depression and pain in the mind. Because Longfei has always been their spiritual pillar, their backbone. As long as there are dragons flying, they believe that everything is possible. Even before this, even if the saints came, they believe that as long as there is a dragon flying here, everything will be safe, and Longting will also pass this crisis. With the arrival of saints one after another, they have already begun to worry. Until this moment, watching the dragonfly was swallowed into the refining pot, the belief in their hearts finally collapsed. Not only are they, but even the golden dragons are screaming at this moment. The scales of the body are dissipated and begin to peel off and fall on the dragon court. Everything is everything, and Longfei has encountered a crisis of life and death. And Longting will also fall into a dead end. Kid, you can do this with him? Don't let Lousy look down on you. Winning the Hook naturally feels this scene, stop and fight, roar. Above the void, the heavens, the Lingshan, and the people of the Yaozu are excited and open-eyed. Sure enough, it will be able to linger in front of us. When the saint takes a shot, he will die. Dragon Court is finally defeated. I don't know what to do, but I dare to rebel against heaven and disobey the saints. Ba, the enchanting is finally killed. The world is clean. Oh, all this, when he refines my demon gods, it is already doomed. Countless voices fell, but the attitude was surprisingly consistent. That is, Long Fei died, and Long Ting is finished. You, stop! Long Fei has already been in vain. It is meaningless to continue fighting. After today, between heaven and earth, there is no Long Ting, and everything is restored to heaven. The son-in-law also spoke at this time, with a touch of light on her face. Several saints also stopped attacking at this moment, smiling, ready to walk. In contrast, the three emperors and Xinyuanzi are awkward and unbelievable. Only when the hook, even at this moment, blood and tears flowed out, killing more concentrated. What they don't know is that at the moment, in the refining pot, the body of Long Fei has been entangled by the power of the heavenly sage, and the whole person is bound, allowing the forces to impact themselves. Even Long Fei has closed his eyes. Is he going to die? Long Fei muttered to himself. Chapter 48:57. Chapter 48:57. The consciousness of Long Fei has begun to blur and is extremely weak. This refining pot is a congenital magic weapon, powerful and incomparable, and the son-in-law or the emperor's emperor, the power of the display of this refining pot is even more powerful. At this moment, this force will entangle the dragonfly, and even let Long Fei feel that the power of his blood is being refining and being smashed, and even the body of the creation cannot hold back. As for the world outside the refining pot, Long Fei has completely lost its perception. At this time, outside the refining pot, all of the dragons are endless grief. After all, Long Fei failed to resist the power of the saint and was swallowed into the refining pot. Inverse seeds have been destroyed. You have no need to shoot. The son-in-law said coldly, as if everything is under your control. The emperor's face sank, and there was a disappointment in his eyes. They are not disappointed with Long Fei, but more, they are disappointed with the world. However, at this time, it was also stopped. This time, they came out of the mountain and placed their hopes on Long Fei. If Long Fei is safe and sound, then they will try their best to help Long Fei. But now, even Long Fei has been swallowed into the refining pot. Life and death are not clear. Even if they are shots, it is just for the Terran to provoke disaster. Jin Yuanzi was also silent. His face was very dignified. This time, is my choice wrong? Jin Yuanzi muttered to himself. His face was lonely. When fighting with the saints, when they choose to shoot, everything has no turning back. Although they are not weak, they are still in the end, and they still have the name of quasi-holy. Since it is not holy, even if it has the power to contain the saints, it is definitely not the opponent of the saint. At this point, it is already a desperate attempt to put all the hopes on Long Fei. I did not expect that the current situation has become like this. I didn't die before I died. This feeling is really wrong. No, it's impossible. Long Fei will never hang like this. When the hook and shout, all over the body, suffocating, the three emperors sighed. Jin Yuanzi silently bowed his head. Now, among all of them, I am afraid that I will only win the game, and I am full of expectations for Long Fei. Because others don't know the means of Long Fei, but he knows a little. Can you summon your own power through countless planes, countless worlds? And such people will be so easy to hang? Winning the hook is absolutely not believed. The stubbornness of the spirit. Why do you call it the innate magic weapon? The power of the refining pot. Even the ancient demon can refine, not to mention a counter-species. Tan Tian teaches the chief's sword, indifference. Go to your mother's counter-species. You are willing to surrender, and you will be placed under the heavens, and you will position everyone against the seeds. As everyone knows, in the eyes of Laozi, you are a group of poor worms. Staring at the sage of the saints, it seems like a big freedom, but I don't know, it's just a dog from the family's nursing home. Say me to be a different kind, and say that he is a counter-species. What about you? You are walking under the door of heaven. When the hook can scream. At this moment, he has completely erupted. Long Fei was swallowed up, and the result of this result is not small. For this day, he has endured the endless time under the sea, and finally saw hope in Long Fei. I just didn't expect that the fire of hope had not yet been ignited, but it was already going to be extinguished. Presumptuous. Stained saints care for the heavens are not tolerated, and the saints are not allowed. Teacher, he shot him out. It was too open, and his face was very strong. Obviously, the words of winning the hook have already stung them. Kill me? Ha ha. Okay, one is not enough. I want to kill me. Let's go together. Win the hook and laugh. It seems that at the moment, I just want to go crazy. As for life and death, it has already been thrown aside. Good arrogance. 3 emperors. Such people. You dare to believe? Like the anti-species, there is no heaven, no death. Yuan Shitian sighed with anger. In the next moment, the heavens were floating in the hands, and the power of a heavenly force was directly suppressed. At the same time, the sword light of Tong Tian is flashing, and it is also a sword. In Yuan Shi Tianzuan, there is no idol. A big clock in his hand appears, screaming, earth-shattering. Innate dust. No? Question mark. Tong Tian, sore meaning? On the side of the 3 emperors, Xin Yuan Huang's face was a heavy meal, and he was going to make a shot. But it was stopped by Fushi. Xin Yuan, don't want to shoot. The saint killing has already come out. If the dragon flies, we must save our strength and continue the fire for the Terran. Otherwise, there is really no hope. Fushi said. Xuanyuan's eyes hate the sky. But I also know that Fushi is telling the truth. In desperation, I can only watch it. Win the hook and look dark between the hustle and bustle. Roar. Winning a hook, the entire Whimsy Sea is emerging behind him mad. A stream of incomparable suffocation broke out on him. Hey! Win a hook and hit the bell on the clock. Hey! The bell of the day rang through the heavens and was directly smashed by a wind. Immediately afterwards, the eyes of the winning hook were like bloodthirsty, and the bones directly turned into a bone that began to differentiate and became a root, welcoming the void and the congenital road. The fangs in the mouth also began to prolong at this moment, and finally won the hook and smashed, like a bone sword, held in the hand, the sword against the sky is a blow. Rumble, rumble, rumble. In an instant, the entire void became violet. The 3 emperors have already bowed their heads and can't bear to look straight. The 3 great saints shot, even if they did not dare to face the resistance, but now in the hook but die. Even the people of the Tianling Lingshan and the Yaozu are the moment a slap in the face and frightened. Because the wind is too powerful, this kind of battle is not something they can intervene. Don't talk about intervening. Even if you look at it more, there's a feeling of death approaching. Brush it. In an instant, the forces of the 3 sides suddenly quit until the withdrawal of this side of the void, the pressure, can only be stopped. At this time, the winning hook in the battle is full of blood. He has his own dignity and lives in a battle. He is also very strong, not losing between heaven and earth, any strong one. However, he is faced with a saint, a heavenly saint, and the strongest 6 under this heaven and earth. He can fight 1 person without defeat, but at the same time face 3, absolutely only a deadly battle. Ha ha! The heavenly sage is just like this. The 3 saints fight with me. Even if they die, Lao Tzu is worth it. Win the hook. Even if he is almost exhausted at this time, he has been hit hard by the attack of 3 people, but he is still arrogant. I don't know the so-called. I will dare to swear when I die. I will give you a yin and yang furnace. Yuan Shitian sighed with anger and burst into anger. At this moment, the 3 emperors closed their eyes. The sage is angry, and it is still 3 saints. They are afraid to go and see if they win or die. Chapter 48:58. Chapter 48:58. At this moment, winning the battle is a shock, attracting everyone's attention. It is the son-in-law who is also attracted by the arrogance of winning the hook. Even the refining pots are left unchecked. Of course, this is also the absolute confidence in her heart. I believe that even if it is Long Fei, there is no wind and wave in his own refining pot. But unfortunately, what he didn't know was that at this time, Long Fei, among the refining pots, was undergoing an earth-shaking change. At the moment, among the refining pots, Long Fei flesh does not move. Let this inexhaustible refinement force into the body. Moreover, all his breath and consciousness disappeared. In this case, no matter how you look at it, Long Fei is already a dead person. But on the flesh of Long Fei, the breath is faintly elevated, and the indescribable, mysterious power of the road is faint in the Long Fei Dantian. With the appearance of this breath, the power of this refining pot poured into the body of Long Fei, but it did not have any influence, but the strength of the body of Long Fei was slowly rising. But this is that the son-in-law is not aware of it. Otherwise, you will never let it go and turn a blind eye. At this time, the outside world, with the beginning of Yuanshi Tianzuan's yin and yang furnace, the strength of winning the hook was completely suppressed. Hey, the bone wing that won the hook has fallen apart, and it was completely destroyed under the power of the innate dust. Boom! The bone sword of the fangs is also defeated under the Qingping sword. Hey, when the yin and yang furnace came out, the boundless and faint blood of the hook was won, and it was refining under this force so that the arm that won the hook collapsed at this moment. Ha ha! A group of things that look good. If you're anyone, Lao Tzu is not afraid. The three kill me alone. Although dead, I'm still the lord of the nether. Windhook laughter voice. As the last cry, tell the world. He won the hook and was equally invincible. At this moment, the sage's face is dull, and the arrogant wind is still seen. The killing is completely ignited. In other words, winning the hook is not dead. They are upset. The three emperors at the moment can no longer stand it. To win today, if the world is hopeless, the Terran is hopeless. Yes, Fushi Huang, I know that you have concerns. But the fire cloud hole for thousands of years still do not understand. Heaven, heaven, heaven. What is the road? Who is the way? You still do not understand. Xian Yuan and Shen Nong have opened their mouths. At this moment, the two have decided to fight. And Fushi Huang, at this moment, finally made up his mind. The next moment, he twisted his hands and painted gossip. Three emperors. Do you really want to do it? Navois also stood up at this time. Not only him, but the connection and the quasi-Daik are no longer silent. I didn't open it in the first battle, but now I'm going to open it again. The atmosphere has become more and more strange. The emperor's face was grieved, especially Xian Yuan. Watching the windhook at this time, hate and madness, and the long sword wanted to be holy. The remaining saints, obviously watching them early, are preventing them from shooting. At this time, Zhen Yuanzi's eyes flashed and seemed to be constantly being deduced. Finally, Zhen Yuanzi has a certain vision. The vibrations in the Earth's celestial world are still more than the same, but instead convey a more horrific warning. That proves that the chaos in the immortal world cannot be ended. That is to say, Long Fei is not dead. Zhen Yuanzi pondered in his heart, and finally his eyes glanced directly at the land. Booming. Huang Tung Tung's light of the Earth's book is constantly flashing, appearing directly on the body of the winning hook, turning into a powerful force, and winning the hook to protect it. Zhen Yuanzi, you are looking for death. Seeing, winning under the power of their own, cannot persist will soon fall. I never thought that at this time, it was not the three emperors who took the initiative, but the Yuan Yuanzi. The old saying is, but it is a choice for yourself. But also, the three saints killing a master of the nether, it is a bit unreasonable. Zhen Yuanzi is self-sufficient. Facing the saint, he is equally scrupulous. But now, there is not much time to consider this. Because he does not shoot, the winning hook will die. Even if Long Fei is still alive, he will not join forces with them. Let's let go. This person is cholera, and the Lord still wants to tell him that you are coming to me. It seems that you want to try the sword of the Lord. The sky is furious, Shun Shung said. Suddenly, Jin Yuanzi was silent. If you say that the previous sage shot is just a magic weapon, then the next step is to kill. Boom! At this time, the change is sudden. A dark color broke the sky from the boundless earth, raging. Step on the pedal. The war horse humming. The sound is like a thunder. Some Daqin Baiqi. Being the life of the emperor, support Long Ting. Baiqi took the lead, holding the sword to kill for the heavens. In an instant, the killings broke out and skyrocketed. That is, the saints have some discoloration. When, more than 2,000 years ago, he wants to shoot again? The voice was too heavy, and he looked at the black pressure. His face was very thick. It's not good. This group of people forced the heavens to crash almost last time. Finally, they were expelled. I didn't expect it to come back now. It is difficult to calm down. Today's things are not good. I don't think this Long Ting and the man have already been stunned. The quasi-dike also faintly opened, looking at the front, very heavy. Haha, I won. Okay, kill. Come on, just kill the saint with the remnant of this seat, and wait for thousands of years. When the hook and laugh, the arrival of the wind is very gratifying to win the heart. At this time, a figure finally came out of the endless darkness. A good heavenly sage. 3 people deal with 1 person. Good, good, good. Winning said 3 sentences, but 1 voice overwhelmed, showing the anger in his heart. Even more terror is that even at the moment of winning the show, even the faces of the 6 saints became extremely unnatural. It seems that the emergence of the wind makes them feel the fear. Win, what are you going to do? Heaven is pity. Let you live a life. You don't think about repentance. Now you still want to go against the sky? Too angry. Pity? You are just afraid of the collapse of the heavens. Don't forget to put gold on your face. When the cold voice, then look around and look at Tong Tian. If I were you, take back the sword in your hand now. Or, you can trap me with your current swordsmanship. Otherwise, the widows will let you go to the top of the palace and slaughter. And you, if you think that your yin and yang furnace can refine it, you will continue to shoot. Otherwise, the oligarchy will make you Kunlun Yushu Palace, turned into ashes. Of course, you think that the 8 Views Palace can withstand the anger of the widows. You can continue to shoot. Wind faint, rage, naked threat. However, at this moment, 3 people in the sky, no one dared to refute. Chapter 48:59. Chapter 48:59. When the overbearing mouth, nothing to be holy. The real violent, even the saint in front of him, can only listen. When? Do you really want to go to heaven? Do you want to be an enemy of the heavenly saints? Tu gnashing his teeth, but the east seat in his hand stopped, and he did not dare to continue. As the winner said, he was afraid. If Long Fei is here, it will certainly be shocked. Definitely will break the casserole for you. Look at the winds of the year. What did you do? And let the saints of the heavens be so jealous of him. Do not talk nonsense. The widows give you 3 time. After the 3 interest, you do not close, the emperor will start. Wind said, still violent, not aggressive, aggressive. For a time, the face of the heavenly and earthly saints became extremely embarrassing. At this moment, the forces in the 3 realms are all there. They are heavenly and sages, and they have always been the object of respect for others. Wherever they go, others will surrender, and they will all say that a saint is on the top, and there has been such humiliation. However, in the face of the threat of winning, they are still unable to take it seriously, one by one, in a dilemma. To interest, when the cold indifference, among the scorpions, cold and frosty, proud of the world. Win, you are too much. The voice of the son-in-law was angry. You have to shoot. You can also try. I see a few of the Yaozu can survive. Win said, only my esteem, undoubtedly. Suddenly, the son-in-law was silent. The 3 people at the time of the day are even more incomparable, and the shot is not, and the hand is not. Continue to shoot. They are really afraid of winning will be unscrupulous, directly attack their line. But if you don't shoot, it means that they are acknowledging the winner. From then on, the saints are no longer majestic. Yes, win again and open just straight. At this time, the Million Qin army led by Bai Qi was even more powerful at this time. Kill, kill, kill. The killing sounds rise to the sky, and for a time, the momentum is unparalleled. The six saints were so embarrassed at the moment that they could squeeze out the water. But after all, I will take back my own means. But God has a good life. At this moment, winning the hook has been dying. Killing is useless. Then the Taoist people opened their mouths and gave them a step. Hey! As several saints closed their hands, the body of the winning hook is no longer controlled, falling directly from the void. At this moment, he was hurt too much. If he didn't hang in one breath, he was afraid that he would already die. At this time, the wind directly flies out, directly to the side of the wind hook, will win the hook to catch. Working hard, when said faintly. Reassured, can't die. However, Long Fei's kid is dead. Winning the hook, looked at the son-in-law, filled with resentment. When a glimpse, the expression solidified instantly. What do you say? Long Fei is dead? When a deep breath, the body's breath instantly condensed, covering the world. I don't know how to live and die, but I've already been in the refining pot by the son-in-law. It has been nearly a few hours. When the hook can say, in an instant, the face of winning has changed. Don't say a few hours, even if the demon is taken into it. It will definitely not last a moment. Give me the refining pot. Win directly. The words are overbearing and cannot be rejected. Let's go. You are too arrogant. I will not kill the hook. It is already extra legal. You even want to ask for the refining pot of the palace? Said the son-in-law. Nuan naturally refuses. This kind of thing is not just an ignorance, but a provocation. Don't force the widow to shoot, otherwise you can't help it. Win said his eyes are awkward and killing. Hey, but at this time, six saints stepped forward in one straight. Win, don't be too much. Enough, this world is still under the heavens. If you really have the ability, you will break this day, and then come back to me and wait for you to be arrogant. Yes, under the heavens, how can you? Several people opened their mouths and burned with anger on their faces. They have taken a step back, and this step, in any case, is impossible to retreat. The expression of winning is also more gloomy. Looking at the son-in-law and looking at the refining pot in the void, step by step, it is necessary to shoot. When it's like this, lazy and more nonsense, can't make sense, just hit. At this time, the change is sudden. The refining demon pot, which was still shining in the void, suddenly burst into a terrible atmosphere at this moment. Well, winning a footstep and immediately a happy face. Ha ha ha, I know this kid can't die. The windhook also laughed. At this moment, they have already felt the atmosphere of the dragon flying among the refining pots. No, impossible, a few hours, even if the quasi-sacred can refine, how could it still be alive? This is absolutely impossible. The son-in-law's face changed greatly, and she quickly tried to control the refining pot. It is a pity that at the moment of her shot, the refining pot suddenly flew up and directly avoided this means. Ha ha, no death. I am waiting for hope. Well, I know, since the salary passed down to him, how could it die? Ha ha ha. My Terran is hopeful. The three emperors are also pleasantly surprised. Looking at the refining demon pot floating in the void, there is no reservation, and a magic weapon is sacrificed in a moment to stop in front of the saint. The picture once again enters the deadlock. However, the difference is that the saints used to block them. Now, they are blocking the saints. Gambling is right. The bet is right. I know that the reminder of the land book cannot be wrong. Chaos. This time really want to start. Zhen Yuanzi laughed. At this moment, he is very fortunate that he made a choice. Otherwise, he will certainly be annoyed for life. At this time, on the top of the dragon court, I heard the voice above the void, and I saw the rioting, refining demon pot, and the grief-stricken face regained its brilliance. Big bad guy, I know that he can't just die like this. Xuanyu cried, but it was so happy. Long Fei brother is fine, great, great. Xiaoye is crying, loud and sad. can only be expressed with tears. Grown-ups is also a deep voice, but at the moment the heart is equally excited. Tushan Xiaoya's face also showed a hint of relief, and smiled gently, leaving tears falling in the corners of his mouth. All of this, all show that Long Fei is still alive. However, they only guessed that Long Fei was still alive, but did not know. At this point, the dragonfly in the refining pot has already awakened. However, even Long Fei himself is awake and somewhat inexplicable. Nothing? I am fine. Is it because the system girl saved me? Long Fei looked confused. Then I tried to contact the system and found that the system did not respond. No, not the system. It is Dantian. In the eyes of Long Fei, the direct view of Dantian, just to see at this time in his own Dantian, the image of the congenital gossip that had been refining before has formed, and even a thick egg once again appeared crack. Chapter 4860. Chapter 4860. Long Fei's heart is clear, and everything in front of him is caused by the changes in Dantian. He didn't know what was going on, but what is certain is that it was the change in Dantian that allowed him to be eroded by the power of the refining pot. Otherwise, now he is afraid that it has already turned into a pile of bones. Dantian's power has become more and more mysterious. According to this trend, it will take a long time to be able to really use it. In the eyes of Long Fei, the light flashes. This day, he waited too long, even humming. After all, even the system sister would feel terrible for his Dantian. So Dantian can finally change to a point, and he also expects in his heart. For a long time, Long Fei forced the shock in his heart and looked at the gray world. It is imperative to find a way to break this refining pot first. As for the other, I will wait until later. Long Fei's heart must be. The next moment, invincible punches come out. Boom! A fist, a vast and difficult to describe with words, broke out from the hands. This kind of power is extremely horrible. Long Fei even feels that under this boxing, under the big luo, it is slag. Rumble. Then a huge roar sounded, and the entire refining pot was violently vibrating. However, this tremor was only a few seconds, and it stopped. Long Fei was slightly indulged, and his expression was dignified. This punch, he has used all the power of the flesh, but did not expect to shake it and write down. What he didn't know was that at this time, as he punched out, the refining pot became the focus of attention, and everyone's line of sight was instantly fixed on the refining pot. Ha ha ha, I said this kid can't die. His means are not what you can imagine at all. When the hook and laugh. At this point, the vibration of the refining pot, just to explain the response of Long Fei. The expression of winning is also relaxed. At that moment, he almost broke out and wanted to shoot the saint. But now, since Long Fei is not dead, the wind does not want to be so big. After all, Long Fei is the lord of the Dragon Court. When he returns, how to decide? Naturally, Long Fei decides that he does not want to take the lead. Not only are they the son-in-law and other heavenly saints, but at the moment they also set their sights on the refining pot. Especially the son-in-law. This time is even more frosty. However, when they saw that the refining pot was only shaking and there was no more reaction, they were relieved. Hey, don't be too happy too early. The refining pot is innate, and the palace has been in existence for many years. Do you think he can break through the refining pot? Even if it is not dead, the Yongzhen refining pot, said the son-in-law. For the refining pot, the son-in-law has absolute confidence. Even if Long Fei is not dead, he does not believe that Long Fei can break through the refining pot. Nevois, don't talk big. Otherwise, I bet Lao Tzu can guarantee that Long Fei can not only come out, but even collapse your refining pot. When the hook and look at it, in the presence, only he knows some of the dragon's clues, and he also knows a little about the means of Long Fei. So I don't believe that Long Fei will be trapped by the refining pot. Is this palace still afraid that you will not be? The girl's eyes glimpse and respond indifferently. For a time, the refining pots became the center of the world, and everyone's sights were fixed. At this time, in the refining pot, Long Fei also calmed down. No, This refining pot is innate and treasured, and the power can no longer violently break through from inside. Longfei thought of it. Since it can become a congenital treasure, the mysterious point naturally does not need to say more. It is too difficult to break it by ordinary means. It is simply not realistic. As soon as I read this, Longfei's heart was a little hairy. Now he doesn't know what is going on outside, but he is swallowed up by the refining pot, and the dragon court must be flustered. Nowadays, only by breaking through the shackles of the refining pots as soon as possible can they be reassured. Do you want to use that flame? Is it not possible to refine this refining pot? Longfei Lingguang flashed. In my mind, I thought of the fire of Dantian. I want to use that power, built the world furnace, and the refining pot will be disintegrated from the inside. If you do it, you will do it. When you fly in your heart, you will condense the melting pot of the world. But at this time, a voice appeared in the mind of Longfei. Master, if you start the melting pot of the world, you are afraid that the entire dragon court will not be able to keep it. A crisp sound appeared. The dragon flew in action, and his expression was happy. Surprise. This voice, for him, is simply a Scorpio. System Sister, are you awake? Longfei was amazed. I have been awake for a long time, but I have not changed my mind before the owner, Dantian. The System Sister said, Wake up early? Then you don't shoot. If it weren't for the change in my Dantian, I would be refining this demon pot, and you might not even have a chance to speak. Longfei said, slightly dissatisfied. Master, what danger are you going to die? I will definitely shoot. However, with the strength of the owner Dantian, the power of this demon tower is simply not enough. The System Sister said, This is true, but now the question is, how do I go out? Also, if I refine the refining pot, how can Long Ting affect? Longfei said, Now, the main concern of Longfei is naturally Long Ting. In particular, the sentence of the System Sister just made him a little scared. Everything he did was naturally for the Dragon Court. If he used the melting pot of the heavens and the earth and let the Dragon Court be destroyed, it was really tears. Master, now that your power in Dantian has not really been controlled, although it has changed a bit, it is still in a state of extreme violence. If you use it now, maybe it will be counterproductive. Not only can you not let Dantian further evolve, but you may also let the horrible power out of control. When you don't say it is Long Ting, the owner of your Dantian may be scrapped. The System Sister said. Longfei heard it, and he stunned. There was a cold sweat on the forehead. Fortunately, the System Sister blocked the timely. Otherwise, it would be really sad if it really caused a big disaster. What now? Longfei asked. Master, remember what I told you before? It is necessary to refine the Wanshan building. Today is an opportunity. Some time ago, I have analyzed the composition of this refining pot. After too long, I can directly assimilate the refining pot and re-recover the Wanshan building. The System Sister said, What? Use the refining pot to activate the Wanshan building? When the dragon flies, he felt a shock. This news is too shocking. Not to mention the activation of the Wanshan building, that is, refining the demon pot. It is already an earth-shattering thing. Yes, Master, you wait a little while. Wait until I activate this building, and you will be able to reproduce the world. Chapter 4861. Chapter 4861. Above the dragon's court, the wind is raging. Everyone is in silence, still staring at the refining pot. And the heavenly sage is now a sigh of relief on his face. Because of the refining pot, since the previous shock, there is no movement. It seems to be back to silence. This palace has already said that the refining pot is a congenital treasure. Even if he cannot die, he can sleep him. The son-in-law said, and her face was proud. Also, how awesome things are congenital. If he can be smashed by people, it is also called innate. Let's accept it. Heaven is only public. This is a troubled world. This is his best ending. Yes, as for winning, if you want to imagine more than 2,000 years ago, then, in spite of it, Tianting, Lingshan, and Yaozu will definitely kill your Qin soldiers and fly away. Taishang et al. For the win, they are taboo, but in the end, as a heavenly saint, they cannot retreat. If the winner wants to be in trouble, what they think is repression. At this point, the win of the eyes is still cold. I heard a few people open, no fear on the face, as you wish. No matter today, the dragon and the death, the Tianting Yaozu, and the Lingshan do not have to leave. Winning a faint opening, violent. As always, the strength is as if it is for the saints. As for the three emperors, this time also silence from a surprise. Whether it is a win or a win, in their hearts, it is only a strong man, but it is not a hope. The only hope is on Longfei. Therefore, at this moment, the only thoughts are only in the refining pot. The people on the dragon court, the surprises and smiles on their faces slowly disappeared. Looking at the refining pot on the void, it is extremely silent. Cowardly. Win, do you really think that you are invincible? Tong Tian's swordsmanship is raging, and there is a big gesture. Invincible is not invincible, and the widows don't care. I only know that if I kill you, even if you are a saint, you must die. When the indifference response. The scorpion is domineering, but I am the only one. The atmosphere, the moment is also cold, endless void. Everywhere is the murderous spirit. As before, when the battle, a big battle is also a hit. Is at this time, a mysterious light appeared silently. And the direction in which this mysterious light appears is exactly where Longfei is. Hey! At this moment, the refining pots trembled constantly, and the sound of humming sounds earth-shattering, and the atmosphere that can shake the heavens and the earth is constantly escaping from the refining pot. No, my refining pot, the son-in-law exclaimed. The expression on the face is no longer calm, and it can even be said that there are no more sages on the top, and some are just flustered. Sister, what happened? Asked at the opening, the eyes were cautious. The refining pot is out of my control, and I have even felt that my heavenly brand has been removed. The girl opened her mouth. As soon as this statement fell, all the faces of the saints changed dramatically. No one knows more about the terrible smell of heaven than they do. Unless they die, there will be no difference in the brand of heaven. But now, the son-in-law is still standing here, but the brand of heaven is erased, and the magic weapon of the saint is lost. This shows that the other party already has the power to fight against heaven. This change has caused them to start panicking. Impossible, he is just a big Luo Jinxian. Even if there is no breakthrough in that step, how could it have such a terrible means? Yes, sister, you try again. Maybe it is an illusion. It may be that the Tiandao brand is activated and the kid is refining. The younger sister, that is the brand of heaven. How could it be erased? A few people are open and full of incredible. But the girl is a girl, but she does not say a word. This moment of change has exceeded her expectations. But she knew in her heart that her perception was not wrong. Not only did the Tiandao branding be removed, but even the refining pots were out of control. The changes in these series are naturally not to win. It seems that this kid has finally shot. When the hook can say, it is natural for the three emperors to be hopeful and to make you feel like being alive. Winning a faint saying. At this time, the changes on the refining pots are becoming more and more fierce, and between the negligence, the ray of light flies in the sky. Boom! Finally, with a loud noise, the refining pot directly collapsed and turned into a starlight, dissipating between the heavens and the earth. And the figure of Longfei reappeared above the void at this moment. At this moment, every day, the saints were shocked and stunned, looking at the figure of Longfei, and looked awkward. Good boy, really have you, even the innate magic weapon has been broken. When the hook can laugh. And this social voice also attracted the attention of Longfei. For a moment, Longfei's anger broke out, and it was difficult to contain it. Who did it? Longfei's voice is indifferent. Nothing, just that you were trapped and did a job with them. When the hook and look fearless. But more, it is afraid that Longfei is too impulsive. After all, the strength is extremely tyrannical. Even if there is a win, it is difficult to ensure that nothing is lost. He didn't want Long Fei to just get out of trouble, and he was in crisis. Long Fei glimpsed a little, and he won the hook's temper. The understatement of the mouth, but can be hurt to this extent, the fierceness of the war can be imagined. In addition, the win hook is for yourself. If it is not for yourself, you can be your own master of the nether and win freely. Nowadays, he is fighting for his own anger, and he is so rude. Long Fei's heart is also unwilling to go. Reassured, I will give you an explanation of this matter. No matter who I am, I will definitely let them pay the price. Long Fei said coldly, and then looked at the saints of the heavens. Dragon, what did you do? What is the refining pot of the palace? Navois Indifference asked, very resentful. However, it is understandable that the son-in-law can have such a reaction. After all, the refining pot is a congenital magic weapon, and it is a magic weapon that the son-in-law has been cultivating for many years. Now it is smashed by the dragon, and naturally it will be extremely angry. As you can see, it has been smashed by me. Long Fei said softly, he did not care. Let's go. Are you the treasure of the palace? Is rubbish? Said to be shattered and shattered? The woman screamed and angered, and the dragon said that she did not believe. And Long Fei, the corner of the mouth, is gently picking at this time. Sneer? Rubbish? Really thought that the saint is invincible? Since you don't believe it, then blast one more for you to see. Long Fei said coldly, and the system directly linked the system. System girl can start. Long Fei said. The next moment, a series of crisp sounds appeared in my mind. And on the body of Long Fei, the breath began to surge at this moment, but the time of blinking was terrible. Hey, congratulations on the player upgrade. Chapter 4862. Chapter 4862 at this moment. Long Fei has been waiting for too long. Since the initial killing of Manjusri, Long Fei has already had a breakthrough condition. However, because of the factors of the Supreme Plane, the system is closed. Otherwise, this realm has already broken through. There is no need to be hesitant in front of the saints. Just do it. Fortunately, this moment is not too late. Perhaps it is just right. Nowadays, the saints are in front. Just let them witness their own eyes and walk out of this step. Booming. The dragon's body was bursting with breath, and a horrible force surged on it. Breakthrough? This kid actually went to this step, winning a hook, laughing and mad. Before the breakthrough, Long Fei's combat power was comparable to the one that did not use that power and now breaks through. It is already considered to be the strongest of the heavens. Even if it is a saint, it is impossible to suppress the dragonfly as before. It's finally this step. It seems that this time there is hope. Win the mouth and pick it up, faintly said, breakthrough? Impossible? How can that be? Under the control of Tiandao, that sequence has reached the extreme. Who can break through? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Fake. Impossible. The sage is shocked. They are heavenly saints, and since the 2,000 years ago, they have won the battle against the sky. Heaven has long been in control of the strong between heaven and earth, and it is impossible for anyone to break through that level, such as the flow of Yanglan. If it is not the suppression of heaven, they have already broken through. But now, Long Fei broke through under their eyes and instantly broke their cognition. At this time, Long Fei did not care what they thought at this time. At this moment, he has been immersed in the sound of the system and can't extricate himself. Hey, congratulations to the player upgrade. The current level is beyond the level. Experience 0 out of 100. Hey, the player broke through to the new level, and the system planned the level as follows. Detachment, command life, eternal life. Each stage is divided into 3 levels. Hey, congratulations to the players to practice the Manjusri and the mantra. Description: Lingshan Air Force is immune. Buddhism attacks immunity. A series of sounds appeared in the system. In addition to prompting the level of cultivation, it also exploded on the last killing of Manjusri. For a time, Long Fei felt a lot of things in his mind, but these things are of little use to him now. In addition to this one shu gongfa mantra for him, he can make some use in the future when dealing with Ling Shan. As for others, you can directly ignore it. Of course, these are not the main points. More importantly, with the breakthrough of Long Fei can clearly understand that at this moment, he looks at the heavens and the earth again and looks at the starry sky. He is very thorough, and even he can clearly perceive the operation of the heavens. For a time, the feeling of captivity is even more filled in my heart. The whole world is a huge pasture. Outside this ranch, it is heaven. The power of heaven is like a circle of circles, surrounded by a circle of heaven and earth. In the heavens and the earth, the principles of all beings, the planning is clear. Even if he broke through to this realm at the moment, he only broke through a layer of embarrassment, and he was out of control of Tian Dao. He wanted to play the power of this heaven, but he also felt very far away. Is this heaven? The sage is a good sage, and it's really good. Long Fei sneered. Perceive that layer. Let Long Fei finally understand why the wind is not to be subordinated to the people, thousands of years of layout, but also to fight again. I finally understood why the winner of the Hidden Lord did not do it, and he was so angry that he was a saint. In such a world, who could be a slave? For a time, Long Fei's heart was burning in anger, and then looking at the six heavens of the heavens and the earth, his eyes were full of pity. The so-called heavenly sage, the good point to say, is supreme. But the ugly point is just the watchdog of the ranch. Heavenly six saints, it is a poor pity. However, since you are willing to be under the heavens, then it is doomed that we can't be good. Also, since this war has begun, it will break out completely. Long Fei Scorpion is cold and faint. Brush it. For a time, all eyes were fixed on Long Fei. No one will doubt the true and false of this sentence. Because of the current Long Fei, I already have this qualification. Even if it is the heavenly sixth, it is silent at the moment. Because now, after the breakthrough, Long Fei has already had the capital to fight with them. Then, Long Fei's nephew swept across the crowd, and his eyes were cold and indifferent. But Tian Dao Lusheng is still a silent face. At this moment, they really felt the seriousness of the situation. Long Fei broke through under their eyes and directly reached the level of the mixed yuan. At this level, even if they want to use the power of heaven to suppress, it is already impossible. More importantly, the power of heaven is basically useless for Long Fei. Otherwise, under the rules of heaven, Long Fei could not break through. Now, Long Fei is able to break through, and it has already been explained that he has jumped out of the heavens and become a person outside your path. Or, from the beginning to the end, Long Fei has not been within the supervision of Tian Dao. Dragon, you are too arrogant. Do you not save the day? Asked too coldly. How about Tian Dao? I'm already outside the heavens. Even if it is a heavenly road, what can I do? Long Fei responded softly. Heaven? Saint? This moment in the heart of Long Fei, completely divided, is no longer a deadly threat. Dragon, you have broken through to this level. Don't make trouble again. You can have eternal life outside of heaven. Yes, Long Fei, you have to be clear. If you take another shot today, don't say that you are a dragon. Even if it is heaven and earth, it will become a ruin. What time can you do what you do? This holy can allow you, the earth on earth, to be owned by your people. Heaven is no longer bound to the world. The Yaozu will open the demon world. How? Too high. Tan Tian and the son-in-law have said a lot. They're already scared and have to regress. Especially the son-in-law, knowing that Long Fei has already collapsed his magic weapon, but he can only swallow it and swallow it. The earth. Playing is really a good calculation. Now Tian Ding, Ling Shan, and Yaozu, the top forces of the three realms, have basically come. How can I retire in one sentence? On earth, I'm not rare. What I want is the whole world. Long Fei said directly, he is overbearing. This is also the first time Long Fei has declared his belief in this mythical world. Replaying myths is his mission and will never give up. Now the saints of the heavens directly want to use the world to let Long Fei stop. Totally impossible. Then, Long Fei took a step back and came to the side of the wind. How about making a big wave? Long Fei tentatively asked. Big? How big is it? Winning Rao is interested in watching Long Fei. Try it. The saint is not true, not dead. Long Fei Scorpion must be murderous. Chapter 4863. Chapter 4863. Long Fei doubles like a knife, sweeping through the heavens. It could be said that the breakthrough to the detachment of the realm, so that Long Fei's mind is soaring. He also wants to know to what extent his current combat power has reached. Heavenly Saints are undoubtedly the best choice. Well, I wanted to do this 2,000 years ago right now. However, now that you have broken through, there are some things that should be given back to the Emperor. Winning whispered, but the meaning of ambiguity, but the world is unparalleled. Long Fei glimpsed a little, and immediately moved in the heart. Roar! The eternal airborne dragon directly flies out from the cornerstone of Xianmen, encircling the void. Winning slightly raised some accidents. This thing is a gift for you. I want it to be useless. Long Fei said indifferently. Regarding what happened before, the winning hook has been passed to him. Therefore, I am grateful for winning the dragon. And this fate of luck, although it can make its Xianmeng gas more powerful. But in fact, there is no fundamental effect. Instead, it gives a win and can exert the maximum effect. Then, in the hands of Long Fei, a long sword appeared again. A long sword, the endless killing of the wind lingers the heavens. Hey, the long sword has a spirit, just flew out from the system space of Long Fei and instantly became happy. The sword is rushing, and the air is full of anger. At this moment, even in the eyes of the sage in the void, there is a touch of unusual. This long sword is not a magic weapon. Even the innate ones are not counted. But it is the winner, but it covers everything and becomes an invincible soldier. Dao Bing. The voice is too dull. As soon as this statement came out, the remaining few saints were on the face. The simple Tai A may not be terrible, but in the hands of the winner, it has become the supreme soldier, crushing the heavens and suppressing all enemies. Winning, holding the hand, is a king of the world, as if everything, not in the eyes. Even Long Fei, in the heart of his mind, felt that this position was too strong. Okay, I can do it now. 3 emperors, can you shoot? Winning the eye asked faintly. Long Fei's sight naturally looked over, although the 3 emperors had not shot before. But it is also excusable. After all, the saints are in front. Even if they want to fight a battle, it will be useless. Nature. Winning you is the Terran Emperor. It could be said that the first person of the Terran Wars, I am the ancestor of the Terran, naturally will not stand by this battle when a line. Xin Yuan first stated that the Xin Yuan sword in the hand was shocked, and Jianfeng pointed to the finger. Fushi is also nonsense. Above his hands, the gossip reappears and stands opposite the Taishan. Shenong also sacrificed Shenong Ding and invited the Yuan to begin. In the field, there are only 3 people left, Tong Tian, Nuwa, and the Quasi-Dike. Lord of the Dragon, this battle, I am pulling the Quasi-Dike for you, but can guarantee that he will be innocent. Zhen Yuanzi is also a step at this time, and his eyes are very excited, calmly said, "It is good." Long Fei did not refuse. Zhen Yuanzi came in 1,000 miles, although he said that he was gambling, but he had the courage to act with the saints. This attitude has already explained everything and made Long Fei extremely satisfied. Therefore, Long Fei will naturally give each other a chance. Nevois, you are not an opponent. What is the battle on this wall? Win said, in a word, let the son-in-law have no temper. Nuwa's face is green and red, and it changes constantly. But for a long time, I finally chose to be silent, because he knows that winning is not a fake. 2,000 years ago, the victory almost made the heavens and the chaos, and their saints also began to die from that time. At this moment, Long Fei also looked at Tong Tian, a fight outside the sky. Longfei held his hand and said softly, "The sky is browse, and the killing of the world is bursting out. A good lord of the Dragon Court, you are too arrogant. I thought it would be difficult for me to break through, tell you that it doesn't exist. The sound of the sky is cold. In the end, it is a heavenly saint. How can it be tolerated by the dragonfly? So exciting." The next moment, through the sky, a sword cut through the void, and the figure suddenly went away. The figure of Longfei was also chased out at this moment without any hesitation. At the same time, Fushi also said, "Too sage, fight outside the sky. Our strength is too strong, and this world cannot bear it. If you don't want the heaven to collapse, let's go," Fushi said, and then the figure took the lead. Then Xinyuan, Shenong, Xinyuanzi, three figures also flew to the sky. At the moment, they are not passive, but take the initiative to fight. And all this is because of Longfei. If the people are too frosty, now they have to fight. Nothing else. Just because they are heavenly saints, it is impossible to escape. The next moment, too, the beginning of the Yuan, the quasi-dike, and the introduction, the four entered the void at the same time. In an instant, above the entire dragon court, only the son-in-law and the winner. Navois did not say a word, did not have the willingness to shoot. And she also knows that even if she is shot, she is not an opponent to win. Kill. At this time, in the mouth of the cockroach, is a faint spit out a word. Brush it. In an instant, the million Qin soldiers headed by Bai instantly broke through the sky and went upstream, directly attacking the three forces above the void. Boom. Nua's face changed dramatically. "What do you mean? Are you not doing it?" "The Emperor just said that you don't have to do it with me. I have never said that I will let them go." When a sneer faintly said, "The woman hates the sky, but it is too late to say anything." Under the command of Winning, Bai Qi led 1,000,000 Qin soldiers to direct 3 divisions to conquer the void. Damn, 1,000,000 people in the district dare to take the initiative to shoot us. No, don't you know why the high-end combat power of Tianting is so small now? It is not that no one has cultivated to that extent, but those who are strong have been shackled by them for 2,000 years. Escape. These people are definitely not what we can deal with. Suddenly, there was a voice in the heavens, and the eyes were terrified. It was with Qin Binging Feng and turned and left. Similarly, Lingshan is not much better. They also experienced the same battle more than 2,000 years ago. So now they are turning around, and they are not afraid to face each other. Only the Yaozu, after the gods were sealed, they were concealed and rarely walked around the world. They didn't understand anything that happened more than 2,000 years ago. Now that Qin Bing has been shot, not only is there no fear, but he is eager to try and surrender. Below, the son-in-law saw this scene, and suddenly there was a sigh of relief in his eyes. Lead the Yaozu to retreat. The son-in-law directly told me. However, it is still late. At the moment of his opening, hundreds of thousands of Qin soldiers have poured into the endless demon. The slaughter begins in an instant. No, how could it be so strong? We are demon people. Why are our flesh, and we can't hold back their strength? God, Tai Deluo, this is the all-power Tai core. Who can stop this kind of strength? Flee. In an instant, the demon blasted directly into the pot, and countless screams filled the void. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.